Hello and welcome to the Ben Braver Show. I'm Ben Braver, running for State House here in Tampa, District 65, which covers all of South Tampa and West Chase. And today we're going to be watching, with my friend Bella, we're going to be watching the future of Florida, the live gubernatorial debate for the Republican primary. And aren't we just so excited?
Yes, I'm so excited to watch the Republican debate, but Byron Donalds isn't even here.
So Byron Donalds, who is the main Republican candidate, who is probably going to get the nomination, isn't here. Right now, he's sitting at like 40%, while James Fishback, who is pretty small, didn't really have much of a name before, through social media, through basically just being very racist on social media and getting a lot of attention to that, now is at 24% in the polls, which is wild. And then Jay Collins and Paul Renner are here. Byron Donalds isn't here, but we have James Fishback and then Jay Collins and Paul Renner, who are all members of the State House earlier. But we're going to get into it. Also, this is hosted by Patrick Bet-David, who's like a Republican conservative guy, and just hosted in a random bar. Like
This isn't a random bar?
Yeah, it's just in a bar. There's just a bar crowd there. It's hosted by some conservative podcaster. It's, not that official. But, because Byron Donalds, the main guy, isn't there. He's polling basically what Trump did, not going to the debates.
So welcome to the first official Florida gubernatorial debate. Make some noise, everybody. We got a crowd in the house. Good-looking crowd here. We're going to have a good time together. I want to properly introduce each individual that I want to bring up, and then we'll get right into it. First candidate that we're bringing up is the former Florida House Speaker, Paul Renner. He was the Speaker of Florida House from 2022 to 2024, championed Florida's universal school choice expansion, U.S. Navy surface warfare officer during the Gulf War, career prosecutor, or legislative strategist, widely viewed as one of the principal architects of much of Governor DeSantis' legislative agenda while serving as a speaker. Please make some noise for Speaker Paul Renner.
We gave a scoop there. Obviously.
All right, next we have Florida Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins, 23 years. Let me properly introduce him, if you may. 23 years as U.S. Army Green Beret Special Forces deployed to combat multiple times. Purple Heart recipients, Bronze Star,
So
Legion of
Fishback's
Merit,
only
Soldier
non-veteran.
Medal. After losing a leg due to combat injuries, he returned to active
know
duty
that.
for another 5 years, elected
lost
to
a leg?
Florida State
I guess.
Senate in 2022,
unless he's just
appointed
lying.
Lieutenant Governor by Ron DeSantis in 2025. Please make some noise for Lieutenant Governor Jay Collins.
Thank you.
And last but not least,
You can't tell.
we have businessman and
And I'm a guy
investor
with a
James
leg injury
Fishback,
right now.
founder of Azoria Partners, an outsider in the race,
That's the
who has
kind of
made a
guy.
name for himself in record time, became one of the highest
okay.
profile first-time
Yes, I'm-
candidates. In recent memory, a social media sensation with a
gosh.
following
Don't show
among
them. I don't
younger
wanna see
conservative
that.
voters and endorsement from major
Oh, yeah, I'm not
media
running for
figures.
office
Give
right
it
now.
up
I'm
for
crutching
James
for office.
Fishback.
Sorry, I talked over James. A lot of Fishback heads there. Talked over Fishback's introduction, but he's just a racist corporate guy.
James,
does
great to
have
have you here as well.
aesthetically.
Gentlemen, are you okay if I
And he
introduce-
loves
if I
being
address you
called
by your
racist.
first name?
Like, he
Is that okay?
loves
Thank you
being
for your
called
permission.
racist.
With that being said, let's address the elephant.
One time when I saw Fishback at the when he came to USF, I went up to him and was like, you love calling Byron Donalds a slave, and he goes, yeah, but I'm not racist. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Not in the room, Byron Donalds. Byron Donalds and I have had multiple conversations. I told him I'm going to be saying this, so when he's seen this, he knows. I talked about this. I invited him multiple times. I said, Byron, I suggest you be here. I agree with the governor. You ought to be on the stage
of course he
debating.
wants him there.
He says, Pat, I got $100 million I've raised. 10 times everybody combined together. I'm at 48% to 58%.
You should be here to. This guy's saying you should be here to talk to the people about your policy, and Byron Donalds says, I'm rich. I got money. I don't have to talk to people. Incredible.
If anybody gets to double digits in approval rating as far as candidates goes, I will entertain the
Fishback's at 25%, 24%. That is double digits. Okay, Byron Donalds, get over there.
debating. But till then, I'm not showing up. So that's Byron Donalds. Anybody watching this, your job
That
is to
makes
help
sense
your
that they're
candidate get to double digits, so he will be on the stage with him, and that's on you to do so. So with that being said, Let's get right into it.
Surprised
Gentlemen,
Fishback
again,
isn't,
thank
like,
you so much
crawling
for
out of
making
his
the time
skin
to come
to
here.
say
There were a
he's
lot
in
of people
double
said, oh, he's not going to show up. Oh, this person's not going to show up. Oh, that person's not going to show up. I applaud all three of them for keeping their word. Please make some noise for the candidates for showing up. All right, so let's get right into it. Gentlemen, each of you get a 90-second opening statement. Paul, we'll start off with you, please.
Thank you, Patrick. Good evening. And Patrick, thank you for hosting this debate so voters have a chance to make an informed decision in this election. I want to recognize my wife who's in the audience, Adriana. We are the proud parents of a 6-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old son. And I got to tell you, being a parent of young children is perfect preparation for dealing with some of the politicians over in Tallahassee.
Running for 64.
And also, I want to thank everyone who's listening tonight, and I look forward to earning your vote. As Florida goes, so goes the nation, and we need a governor who is a battle-tested leader. At age 23, I was a young officer navigating through mine-infested waters, and I led a small boat team to destroy those mines. 20 years later, as a commander in the Navy, I led a team to stop foreign fighters from coming into Afghanistan to kill Americans. I was also tested back here at home as a state prosecutor trying habitual and violent habitual offenders to protect our communities. I've started my own business, been a partner in another business, and most recently led the Florida House as Speaker. Voters want a proven leader who can deliver results. Governor DeSantis.
Yeah, but what results does he deliver? I mean, this past cycle in Florida, they passed 5 pieces of legislation, and they were all horrible. Like, he didn't deliver anything.
Describe those 2 years that I led as unmatched. And when I led the Florida House, conservatives won every battle.
Unmatched. Yeah, of course conservatives won every battle. They're in the supermajority. It'd be crazy
Florida
if they
has
didn't.
Challenges ahead, and we need a governor who can navigate them. That's why I've announced a bold contract with Florida, an aggressive conservative agenda in the first 100 days. As your governor, I will make Florida affordable. I will keep it safe. I will protect our environment and keep our state free. If you want to strengthen the state of Florida, the free state of Florida, you need the proven leader who helped build it. So tonight, I ask for your vote to lead this wonderful state as your next governor. Thank you.
Paul. Thank you. Thank you.
I really wanted to get like all this time.
Jay Collins?
He did the same thing.
Well, good evening, and of course, I want to say thank you to Layla, my son Gabe. Great to see you here. Love you guys. And thank you, Patrick, for hosting us. It's incredibly kind of you to open up your channel.
To make it in the 100 days, he's actually going to do communist reforms. He's going to do price controls. He's going to institute, complete government control over the monopolies. He's going to nationalize them, or I guess, bring them to the state level. He's going to just legislate that gas prices are $2. At least that's what I think he's going to do.
His healthcare is going to be affordable. Energy is going to be affordable.
Yep, he's going to make public options for both of those.
Okay. There's going to be like free access to public transportation.
Oh yeah,
too?
definitely. Oh yeah.
There'll be more solar energy.
Yeah, you should vote for him. I'm sure that's what he means.
Channel like this, it means the world. Guys, this race is about leadership. It's about leadership under pressure. It's about the future of the great free state of Florida. We have been blessed to have Governor Ron DeSantis as our governor for quite some time now. In that time, he has stood boldly with strong, bold, conservative leadership.
Boldly, strong, and bold.
This simply cannot change. Under his watch, we have become the free state of Florida. We have become the conservative proving grounds.
We should do like a drinking game every time they say the free state of Florida. Not just free,
around the world,
the free state
of
Florida.
There is nowhere else to go. The simple fact is this: when Florida leads, America wins. We have to keep that momentum. He has shown what conservative leadership is truly about. Friends,
defunding
the next
schools.
governor has to hold that line. There's no falling back. The left, what do they want to see? They want to see the free state of Florida devolve. They want to see it break down and be soft on crime, soft on DEI, and go back to where we came.
Soft on DEI? Are we arresting people for being diverse at this point? I mean, like, what? No, he like literally linked crime and DEI right there. This is wild. And go back to where we came. The Republicans have been in control for the last 30 years. What's he talking about?
That simply cannot happen. You've heard my story. Yes, I was honored to be a Green Beret for many years. It's something I'm incredibly proud of. Brave men who I served beside and I look up to this day. Yes, I got shot. Yes, I lost a leg. And yes, I requalified. But the greatest part of all of that is that I kept getting up, fighting, and serving the great state of Florida, the United States of America, because that is
wants
what
to fight the state of Florida.
That is what
He just said
leadership
that.
is, and that is what makes this nation what it is. Friends,
Jay.
I cannot be intimidated. I will not be broken.
He just
And
said that in the
my
most scared
watch,
way
as the
possible.
next governor of the great state of Florida,
I
the brightest
will
days
not
won't
be
behind
intimidated.
us, They'll be ahead of us, because this state and this nation are worth fighting for every single day.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And folks, if you're watching this, if you're following the debate and you put in commentary, our team will be watching as well. Follow the
Sorry if that
hashtag
made a loud
VT
noise.
Debate on Twitter. Again, VT
She
Debate
just
on
needs to
Twitter.
speak up.
James Fishback, please.
Well, Patrick, thank you so much for hosting this. Thank you to my wife, Valeria, for being here.
Jay
Thank you
Collins
for
didn't
being
think his
here.
wife had
Thank
a
you for
thing.
your 23 years of service to the United States Army.
Wow.
Thank you, Paul, for being here and your 20 years of service to the United States Navy. To the viewers at home, thank you for tuning in to tonight's important debate. Let me start by getting
so
one
cute,
thing
like a little
off my
boy.
chest. If Ron DeSantis could
Okay, I
run
was scared there for a
third
second.
term as governor, I would not be in this race because Ron DeSantis is the greatest governor in Florida history.
They love DeSantis. Oh my God.
When teachers went woke, he fired them. When Soros prosecutors went soft, he removed them. And when Anthony Fauci...
Wait, what is when Soros prosecutors went okay, so Andrew Warren said that he wouldn't arrest women for getting abortions. I think that's what he means by Soros prosecutors going soft. And there's that one state attorney in Orange County in Orlando that DeSantis fired for, I forget which thing. I think that's what he's talking about. But also, like, what, the Florida just fired somebody for saying Charlie Kirk, or, you know, making some joke about Charlie Kirk, and now we have to pay them like $800,000 or more to rehire them. Like, it was not a good thing that Florida did.
Fauci and Joe Biden tried to shut us down,
Joe Biden.
mask us up. What did Ron DeSantis do? He stood and fought for our freedoms.
Joe Biden
As the
mentioned,
8
wow.
years close on this
Why is he
incredible
talking so much about
man's
DeSantis and
legacy,
not himself?
there are a new set of
Because
challenges
he can't talk about
on the
himself. There's
horizon.
nothing good about himself.
Experimental data centers, sky-high property tax and property insurance, and most importantly, the education.
He said experimental data centers. So he's trying to show that they're dangerous. I mean, like, I am glad that he's against data centers, but that's the language that he went with, experimental.
I don't know what that means, experimental in the data center sense.
I think he's trying to say that, like,
Because there's not proper regulation and research over their impacts. So then-
exactly. And so, like, you know, you're trying to tell people be scared about data centers. That's like the message he's trying to get out there. So he's saying experimental. I mean, that's, you know, that's good language, I guess.
Education and future of the next generation. I am in this race to do two things: to preserve Governor DeSantis' extraordinary legacy and
Wow,
to
he
fight
said DeSantis
to
like
make
4
our
times so
state
far.
more affordable. This July 4th
Affordable.
will be a special one because 250
That'd be a
years
drinking
ago,
game.
brave men stood up and said enough was enough. Let's honor them. Let's write the next
good
great
for the
chapter of American history right here in Florida.
Beautiful.
Just so you know.
Okay, thank
So
you
he
for
said
that.
nothing about his own policy objectives. All
Oh,
he
you're
did
right.
was-
Each of you
was
can
basically
take
bend at
60
his
seconds
knees
and
for,
share with
for DeSantis.
Yeah.
Found out.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And you know why? Because his policy is a hoe tax. He wants to institute a first income tax in the state of Florida. He wants to institute an income tax on hoes. Like, it's crazy. And not the tool, but, like, you know, women that he thinks are promiscuous.
Wait, that's what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, he literally wants to do a 50% tax on people he deems hoes.
Like prostitutes?
Well, people on OnlyFans. Like, he got in a whole fight with Sophie Rain, who's like a creator, about like, oh no, we need to tax you because you're getting money, you know, in bad ways. Not like tax the oil companies more. No, tax the women who are you're making money on OnlyFans. It's crazy. And like at 50%. And again, we have in our Constitution in Florida, it says you can't have an income tax, but he wants to make one specifically for promiscuous women.
With the audience, with the voter here, what the top 3 issues are for you in the order from third to first, which the top 3 most important issues are to you. Jay, I'll come to you first.
He wants to go. Why was that a specification? Go from the third most important to the first. That's
Look, as
crazy.
I've traveled around the state, I have been from big city to small town.
What are your top 3 priorities? But go from third priority to the top priority.
Okay.
I know it's just weird.
And the number one thing that comes to our ears is
not doing it.
affordability. It's about the economy. Number two is about safety and security. And the last thing is education, because the simple fact is this: what we teach our children today is the reality of our state and our nation tomorrow. We can't afford to fail on those three things.
That was.
Oh, that's it?
Those were your three?
Well, I would also echo affordability. If I go and speak to a pastor's breakfast, they want to talk about affordability. A homeschool mom's affordability everywhere you go. And we have become a victim of our own success with prices
If we did a drinking game for affordability, we'd be in the hospital.
going up with everybody moving into the state. That's number one. I would also say we have to fight public corruption and enforce public safety. We see what's happening in blue states across the country, and it's unacceptable.
I would encourage anybody who's watching this, make a video compiling how many times you say freedom or free state of Florida, DeSantis, and affordability. I want to see which one was the most.
We have been an oasis of safety when it comes to our public safety here in the state of Florida. And finally is preserving our constitutional rights and freedom. We are the free state of Florida. We need to not only protect it, but also strengthen it.
Okay, James, how about yourself?
Affordability,
Three issues for me that are
safety,
most
freedom.
important are this. Number one, Ron DeSantis gave us a 50-year low in crime, and it wasn't by accident. Crime's down, prosecutions are up, because Ron DeSantis did the radical thing that CNN and
Is this
MSDNC
tactic
won't
just
talk about,
to-
is
I
we're going to
guess.
back the blue every step of the way. That's the first thing. Number two,
Okay, one back.
we have a real problem with these so-called experimental data
Okay.
centers.
Again, experimental. Nobody went in reverse order like he asked. I would have done that. I would have actually went in reverse order.
I'm sorry. We are not going to build a 2 million square foot facility in our neighborhood that Mark Zuckerberg is going to use to become a trillionaire.
Did you say, did you say Mark Zuckerberg? Did you hear that?
That Mark Zuckerberg
Yeah.
is going to use to become a trillionaire. The same exact experimental data center that will drive up your electric bills, jeopardize our water
Electricity.
supply, and is
Can
so
I talk
loud and
about
noisy
this
that
for
you
a
will
second
hear it.
quick? Hi everyone, I'm an organizer who directly does work around electricity bills. And he's, praising Ron DeSantis so much. Ron DeSantis right now is the reason why our electricity bills are so high in the state and why we're so concerned about data centers, raising them even more. And Ron DeSantis's data center bill that he passed this year that's meant to prevent data centers from offloading their costs onto customers. There already seems to be loopholes in that systems because utility companies such as Duke Energy are already trying to work around it and still pass costs on to customers. So I would really love to hear his opinion on all of that and what his actual solution is to ensuring data centers are adding costs onto Floridians' electric bills.
Go raid his comment section asking about that.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I want to be clear. I am not going to regulate
He's a
data
better
centers.
speaker than the other two.
I am not going to reform data centers. As governor, I will reject and remove every experimental data center in our state.
Okay, and we're going to address that as well with data
Well, I
centers.
got-
Every
I was just-
experimental data center. So
Yeah, for the
I think
record,
he's,
I
like-
don't trust him
I
on
feel
this.
like he's not meaning all data centers. It's experimental data centers to me sounds like it's only specific ones that seem
I see that. That's a good point.
the way he's wording it sounds.
I also
very-
just don't trust him. I mean, he's a liar. He's literally been sued by his place of employment for lying about his career status, what his job is, and they sued him to say, "Hey, you didn't have this job. Stop saying that you did." He allegedly groomed an underage kid and is now not allowed at many Florida high schools because of that. He also is very anti-Israel right now, which is good, but not because he's pro-Palestine, just because he hates, Israel. And but a year ago he was pro-Israel, and now he's anti-Israel. I just don't trust him. I don't think he'd stick to his word of banning AI data centers, even if he didn't just mean experimental ones.
2.
Go for it.
Here's the last one. The last one, you don't need a history book. You don't need a time machine. The last one is happening right now. There is a movement in our country that calls themselves democratic socialists, but let's call them what they really are. They are communists. The mayor of New York is telling people who are...
Even Donald Trump was like, these people aren't... actually, no, Donald Trump said that. They aren't socialists, they're communists. Never mind. So I guess he is still with Donald Trump on here.
Sweating during the worst heat wave, telling kids and our senior citizens that they dare not touch the thermostat. We will never forget what communism really is. Our neighbors in Cuba know that.
That horrible Mayor Mamdani is saying, try not to use too much energy right now so we can protect our grid. That dastardly mayor.
While Florida has one of the highest disconnection rates in the country, so when we're also experiencing extremely high temperatures that pose a health risk, especially to our elderly community members.
Yeah. And workers in Florida don't have any actual heat protections.
Yes.
They don't get heat breaks. They don't they have to work on days when it's ridiculously hot outside, above 110 degrees. It's insane.
And for the audience, if you're watching, the temperature here are 68 degrees. That's where we have the AC, just to make sure we're going to be fine. So since affordability was number one for all of you, let's get right into affordability. And we're going to have some fun.
Also, you can see how chronically online he is. Like, I don't even know that reference that he was making about Mamdani. And like,
I just saw that today. He posted on, like, or was it X now? That how do you say New York residents should keep their AC at 78, as to, like you said, to not strain the power grid, and people's powers aren't going out, especially for our elderly folks who.
Yeah.
As well, we're gonna have some items that are gonna come up. We're gonna play a game to see who knows more about affordability than the other. It'll be a little bit entertaining, and we'll address some important issues. But let's start off with affordability. And James, I'll come to you first here. Let's talk about homeowners insurance, which is a big issue. Between 2020 and 2024, more than 12 insurance companies cut back coverage in Florida or left completely, including State Farm, Allstate, Farmers, and Progressive. Now Florida has the highest property insurance rates in America. As governor, what specific immediate steps will you take to lower insurance rates and make housing affordable again?
Patrick, it's a great question. And it's one that we have to fight with a very simple idea called capitalism. If you're the only Dairy Queen in the middle of a desert, you can charge whatever you want for soft serve. What we have to do is bring in a Baskin Robbins, bring in a Carvel, bring in a Cold Stone. You might even bring in a McDonald's, Jay, if the ice cream machine were working that day. What is that?
Why did he direct that at Jay? What the hell? He's saying Jay really likes McDonald's?
Maybe it's an inside joke.
Maybe. That was creepy. But no, I mean, you need a public option because all the private markets left. I mean, he's saying, Patrick Bet-David was saying capitalism has broken in Florida because all the private markets don't see profitability in the state. They see that if they provide homeowners insurance, well, whenever a hurricane is going to happen, they're going to have massive losses. And so when Fishback's saying, well, invite those private insurers back in. They left. They don't want in. We need a public option. But you're saying, no, we need to give, these private insurers more cutbacks and let them raise rates even higher and people make, insurance even more expensive. Like,
competition do? It brings down prices. The fact that 12 insurance companies...
Yes, competition by having a public market in addition to the private one.
...have cut or left the state entirely is exactly why insurance rates have gone up. As a business guy, I'm going to call those CEOs myself and ask them, what is it going to take for you to come back to our state? How can we reform these laws?
He's going to give them more of our money. That's
insurance doesn't just come down to price. It also comes down to coverage. For the Florida families who went through Michael in 2018,
this might not be
Irma in 2017, or Wilma in 2005, know this. When a hurricane hits, you will not have to hunt down and recruit a lawyer to get paid from your insurance company. I will stand up to insurance greed in our state.
Paul, how about yourself?
What? Yeah. Wait a second. His whole answer was, I will call the CEOs of these companies, get on my knees and say, what can I do to get you back in this state? And then the end of his sentence was, I will stand up to their greed. Like, how can you both say, whatever you want, I'll give you, and I'll stand up to you? That's not how that works.
I agree.
Thank you.
Well, I have some unique receipts on this issue because as soon as I became speaker, we went into special session to take two special interests,
And
the
did nothing.
billboard lawyers who are driving up rates as a litigation hellhole in Florida, as well as the insurers. And we said, let's focus on the consumers. And by doing that, we saw auto rates go up 30% before I was speaker. And since then, auto rates are going down in one state in America. That's this state. Now, homeowners insurance
true?
is a little bit more stubborn, but we have seen dozens of new insurers come into the market when before those reforms, they were going out of business, dropping coverage. But here's what we can do. We can make sure to eliminate and suspend the tax on homeowners' premiums. We can end the rapid cash, what's called the rapid cash buildup, which was done at a time when our catastrophic fund was broke. Suspend that for a while, and also allow.
He's actually giving that's real policy. That's not stupid. That's real policy.
That cat fund to come down and handle smaller storms than what they're handling right now. All three of those and some other reforms
car
we can
insurance rates
make
are going down.
will lower the premiums by up to 20%, and we'll do that in the first 100 days as part of my contract with Florida.
Fantastic. Make
That
some
was real
noise. Thank you,
policy.
Paul. Jay, how about yourself?
Now, the first bit of policy wasn't the best because it's just dropping a tax on homeowners, which, when you're taxing people with property, that's a progressive tax, which means you're taxing richer people more than you're taxing poorer people. And in Florida, we're taxing poorer people way more as a percentage of their income than we're taxing richer people. So that first bit of policy wasn't the best. But the second bit, when he was saying we need to drop a fee on something about the insurance, yeah, he's probably right about that. That's not a bad position.
All right, thanks, Patrick. Look, you've heard similar answers here, and it's very simple. Under Governor Ron DeSantis, we have
Actually, no, we didn't hear similar answers. We heard Fishback talk about himself and how great DeSantis is, and we heard Renner give an answer.
fixed this problem, and we continue to work towards it. Look, at one point, we were down to one insurance company. It was very, very tough. Many of us worked day and night trying to figure this out, move it forward, and bring more insurance companies in here. Yes, we spoke to CEOs. Yes, we spoke to economists. And yes, we pushed everybody. The number one thing that drove that was rolling back tort reform. Guys, what we did with tort made a huge difference. The number one thing you can't do is
They love tort reform. And that means that basically means making it harder for people to sue insurance companies to get, the money from their claims. But they love stopping that.
fall back. We cannot cede ground to the trial bar. It can never happen on that. Not now, not ever. The rates will skyrocket. We have to make sure that we look at things like permitting and impact fees. Right now, those are things that we can actually solve on the ground.
That's something that's actually bipartisan. Impact fees. Developers, when they're building in municipalities, they're supposed to pay these impact fees, which are way too low to begin with, but they're not even paying them. And it's like an open secret that these companies just aren't paying the taxes they're supposed to be paying. It's ridiculous.
But they're not required by law to, or are they?
No, they're
Or are
required
they
by
not?
law to. They're just nobody's enforcing it.
Okay.
It's crazy. So this is something both Republicans and Democrats are actually for, enforcing this stuff, because it's crazy that these companies are just not paying for their stuff.
The cost of permitting is built back into the cost that goes back to the person. It's not just the fee, it's the carrying cost. And it's magnified because it drives up our insurance. But it's incredibly dangerous when coupled with that FEMA 50% rule, where homes are being lost and homes are being torn down. And the last thing is this. We understand that we have hurricanes. We understand that there are problems in this state. And that's why we have been leading the nation on property tax reform. And in our administration, we have done that. The language in front of us will bring back property tax relief to our people. We have to make sure we put money in people's pockets. We continue to fight.
The only thing that happened under the administration is them kicking more people off the public home insurance option, Citizens. That's the only thing that happened.
To drive those costs down, and yes, we're going to hold insurance companies liable. We're going to hold attorneys responsible, and we're going to make sure we prioritize the welfare of our people over everybody else.
Jay, question for you in regards to, what we can learn from California, because a lot of insurance companies also left the state of California.
Well, we can
Florida
learn
and
from
California, this is
California.
one thing we have in common, both states. What do you do, because insurance companies have to also make a profit. How do you make it profitable for them to come into the state at the same time?
That's the exact problem. We should have an insurance company that doesn't need to make a profit, a public insurance option. Are you good? Do you want to keep on doing this?
Yeah, I'm good.
You sure? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm keeping it affordable for families.
Well, I'll tell you, Patrick, look, we love the free market, right? I'm certainly not allergic to money, nor should anybody here on this stage or in this audience be. You got to really take hold of the crime and the fraud that's going on in the community. We actually have very strong laws. We've worked diligently, but you've got to go take care of that. Right now, roofing fraud, window fraud, windshield fraud on cars, those things are driving rates up, and that cost gets passed on back to the people. We got to make sure we take care of that. And ultimately, when you do that, that's going to make the cost go down. Their profits will be there. And ultimately, it's going to make sure people have more money in their pockets.
It's like almost always about individual level fraud, not about systemic change with Republicans. It's crazy.
Long term. That's just one of many things.
I think,
Please go ahead, Jay.
well, I think Jay is exactly right, that there is a fraud problem in this state. That when someone cheats their insurance company, especially illegal aliens in our state, when they cheat their insurance company after a storm, the insurance company does not pay that fraudulent claim. They pay it and then they charge the rest of us. And so it's not a coincidence, Patrick, that we have the highest insurance rates in the nation while also having the highest fraud rates in the nation. That's why my running mate, Florida's Lex Lieutenant Governor, is a cop who has gone after white-collar crime right here in Florida. We are going to throw the book at anyone and everyone, especially illegal aliens, who commit insurance fraud, prosecute them, invite...
These companies have some of the highest profits in history while charging higher rates. Like, it's not just about street-level fraud. It's about their payment systems. And the fact they're not charging people on the coast where it's most dangerous more than... I mean, what we need to do is switch to a land value tax rather than just a property tax, which will mean that people farther away from the coast pay way less money.
Invite the insurance companies back in, they'll make a good profit, and we can bring down the premiums and save money for Floridians.
Paul, do you have any other angle yourself? Any unique angle yourself?
I didn't hear you, Patrick.
Is there any unique angle you have yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, I have the receipts because the reforms we did were as soon as I became Speaker of the House to get rid of those jackpot verdicts. So when a handful of lawyers get rich at your expense, that's spread across everyone who pays insurance policies. And we ended that litigation abuse when I was Speaker. Another program that we need to talk about is the My Safe Florida Home program, which we funded at hundreds of millions of dollars. It gives up to $10,000 in grants for people to harden their homes, new doors, windows, roof tie downs, etc.
Now that's good, except we should stop taxing the actual property itself, so that when people harden their homes, make them safer, we increase their property taxes because the property is nicer now, but that discourages people from making their homes better. What we need to do is just tax the land that they're on, so that we're not taxing the home itself. And that way we tax, again, people near the coast way more than people inland. Or people in more expensive property way more than people in less expensive property.
And it saves as much as $1,000 in premiums. And so these are practical steps that we can take that allow for insurers to come into the market, and that's exactly what's happened. And we're seeing the benefits of that 3 years on. Now, the plaintiffs' lawyers, as soon as we passed the bill and before the governor signed it, went out and filed almost 300,000 new lawsuits under the old rules. And so it's like the big egg moving through the snake, and we have to wait for that egg to move through before we see those new rules fully take effect. So the good news is, even though we're several years on from those reforms in 2022 and the end of 2022, we're still seeing benefit to consumers.
But when they talk about these lawsuits, what they're really talking about is people trying to get their money from the insurance companies. They're just saying that they're mostly fraudulent, but that's not true.
All right. Let's go to the next story. The next story I want to get to is housing costs, rent versus wages. A new report shows a Floridian needs to make $77,500 a year to afford an average two-bedroom rent of $1,940 without overspending. As governor, how will you ease this rent and wage pressure so working families
$106,000 in Florida, in Tampa,
don't spend most of their paychecks just on housing? James.
It's always a question of supply and demand. Right now, it's no different than we were 10 years ago, except one major difference. Florida has 1.4 million illegal aliens in our state. The homes, the rental properties, the apartments.
Every single answer with him is either DeSantis is awesome or it's the illegal aliens. I mean, every single answer. Also, I mean, we're the fastest growing state in the entire country. But we're not actually building affordable housing. We're not ensuring that the housing that's being built is affordable. I mean, like, that's the problem.
Apartments that they are living in, the fact that Blackstone and BlackRock are buying up all this housing supply, 117,000 single-family homes are owned by private equity. Single-family homes are for Floridians. They're not for hedge funds. And so what we have to do is we have to prevent these.
The problem with him is he's like the one candidate who's against BlackRock and like the private equity firms.
Large investors, foreign nationals from buying up our homes, driving out Floridians who have built their life here, and that's how we can bring down costs. But I also want to touch on something as well, which is that it's not just the rent or the expenses that you pay every month, it's how much you make. How much money are you making today versus 5 or 10 years ago? We are staring down a crisis for the next generation. I met with a young man at Florida State University a couple months ago. He applied to 100 different positions at a company. And I won't name the company out of respect, but it was Amazon. And so he had a 4.0 GPA,
What did that even?
computer science major. And Patrick, he can't get a job from Amazon because they told him, we're not hiring American citizens right now. They're just hiring agents.
No, that did not. Amazon did not send an email saying, I'm sorry, we can't hire you. We're not hiring American citizens. That did not happen.
Bees from India, Pakistan, and China. To the 1,900 employers in Florida right now who are using H-1B foreign labor, I am warning you once and for all. Fire your foreign workers, hire back qualified Floridians, or you will face the ultimate wrath.
Does he think that just like the tens of thousands of people working here in Florida, the H-1B visa workers, like just have easy replacements in Florida already? That's not how it works. Like a lot of other countries have very, very good people who specialize in specific types of manufacturing. America doesn't do so much manufacturing anymore. So when we need people who are really good at something or some field of science, well, we really need those people. It's not like you can just replace them willy-nilly. Most H-1B visas are for specialties, not just for random work. And then if you try to make them more expensive, it becomes even more specialized, and then only the large companies can get them.
Of the state of
Also, I mean, you destroy those businesses and you destroy, families in the state if you do that. Like, it's just,
Florida. We must put our workers front of the line.
Jay, do you agree with James?
that's somebody important.
Yeah, I agree with the premise of what he's talking about. We know we have an illegal
He did just
immigration
get
issue
married to
across
my
the United
next
States of America. Look, every state is a border state. That's just the reality of it, and we have to take that threat serious. We've talked about it. If we have 2 million illegal aliens in the state of Florida, 4 people per
What? He said 1. This guy's saying 2 now. Rayner's going to say 3.
house, that's
It's going to get to 10 by the end of the night.
500,000 homes or apartments being taken out of circulation. Let's talk a little bit about other notes of that. The American dream is what's important. The American dream is what we're discussing. The American dream can never be broken down to just getting by and having barely enough or just eking it out. Guys, that's not the America that we fought for. That's not
Man, he's the worst speaker up there. I mean, like,
the American dream that I want. What I want to see is more opportunity, more jobs, more growth in those industries to raise it up, to make a difference in the families. We have to bring
he's literally just saying, we don't want you to be poor. I want to see growth. Bad economy, bad. Good economy, good. I want good economy.
back the trades. Did you know the average tradesman is 58 years old? The average farmer is 58.9. When you raise that up and you get more people into the workforce, great things happen. The free market works. Where we run into problems,
It's not, if the average ages have gone up by so much, if wages are so low, the free market doesn't work. Not necessarily because free markets don't work, but because the market isn't free. It is controlled by monopolies. It is controlled by oligarchs, and our, state has just let them run wild. Like with insurance companies, they've let them run wild, raising rates. With the energy companies, they've let them run wild, raising rates. That's why prices are so high.
as conservatives, as Republicans, is when we forget our principles. and we over-subsidize, we play games, and ultimately it ends up causing problems down the road. If you want to bring back more affordability, you want to drive down the cost of rent, we have to project and take care of affordability and the quality of life across our entire state. That has to be the number one focus
That
of
was
what we're doing.
incredible. If you want affordability, we have to focus on affordability. What is happening right now?
It's the number one thing I talk about moving forward, and the number one thing I hear about everywhere I
I haven't heard
affordability and the quality of life across our entire state. You have to back more affordability. You want to drive down problems down the road. If you want to bring back more affordability, you want to drive down the cost of rent, we have to project and take care of affordability and the quality.
If you want more affordability, we have to project, I don't even know what that means, and take care of affordability. He's right. You can't argue with that.
Quality of life across our entire state. That has to be the number one focus of what we're doing. It's the number one thing I talk about moving forward, and the number one thing I hear about everywhere I go in the free state of Florida.
Thank you, Jake.
Just dropped in the free state of Florida.
So we are a victim of our success.
That clap was half-hearted. They knew that wasn't a good answer.
Millions are moving into our state, much like illegals coming into this country because they have failed countries where they came from. There are failed states now in America, and people want to live in Florida. And look,
I think each of them, when brought with affordability, immediately said, all these illegals, that's the problem.
if I could,
But also didn't actually say how they're connected.
I often say I would love to build a wall at the Georgia-Alabama line and make California pay for it to keep people from coming in. Because it is a supply and demand problem. I agree with James on illegal immigrants as being a source of the problem. Part of my affordability plan, and I also agree on H-1Bs, is that we will have no H-1Bs as state employees. You will not have a state contract and be allowed to have any H-1B workers. Florida jobs for Florida.
I really wish somebody asked him what about Israelis. I really wish somebody asked him that. Oh my God. Oh, the Israelis are
Florida workers, period, full stop. Now, I'm the only candidate, for whatever reason, in this race that has a comprehensive program to end property taxes for those who need it most. And part of that will have some replacement taxes, and part of that...
Even DeSantis said that he wasn't for ending the property tax at this point. Like, even DeSantis said he wouldn't campaign for it. So I'm surprised Renner is still advocating for it.
But then what's up with his bill that he passed? Or with his amendment that he...
Well, no, they didn't. They're putting it up to the voters to decide.
Yeah, I know.
...is to raise the taxes on what James described as out-of-state private equity, and he's right, over 100,000 homes that they bought up, single-family homes, and turned into rentals.
That's good.
Now, what's wrong with that? First of all, that's hundreds of millions of dollars out of Floridians' pockets that never hits the local economy or the state economy. And secondly, there are over 100,000...
What about Tico? Should we get that out of foreign hands? Bring that back to the consumers here?
...homes not available for purchase, meaning you can't earn the American dream.
So that people know, Tico, Tampa Electric Company, is our state-run monopoly, but it's owned by some Canadian guy, I think.
Amera. Their parent company's Amera. That's, based in Canada.
Yeah.
And Tico makes up only 30% of their customer base, but they provide 70% of their profits.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Around there, roughly.
That's incredible. Free state of Florida.
Property tax proposal also will allow for special incentives for first-time home buyers. And I'm not talking about you've lived in New York and this is your third house, but your first one in Florida, but you're a Florida resident. You're living with mom at age 35, so I got good news for you, mom and dad. We're going to get them out of the house and make sure that they have an opportunity to buy their first home and not wait, as the stats show, until 44 years of age to buy your first home. That's why we have Zohran Mamdani, because when people feel
Mamdani reference.
First home, that's why we have Zohran Mamdani, because when people feel the door is locked shut and the deadbolt set, you will listen to the Pied Pipers of the far left or the far right, but Mamdani is a creature of the far left, and he's promising the moon, and then all he ever delivered once he got elected were tax increases.
Wait, to rich people, first of all. Second of all, he just froze the rent. He balanced the budget. He made freeze childcare. What the hell are you talking about?
I think he's jealous.
Yeah, I think he is. You're right.
This just all sounds like just like a little pitiful little girl jealousy.
Yeah. That's the one person. They're not even attacking anyone in Florida. They're attacking Mamdani.
Yeah. But that shows the impact
of
him, to have Florida gubernatorial candidates talking about the New York City mayor. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's probably because I was saying that I'm like the Florida Mamdani, so they were like, "Oh, we have to squash this." And
Yeah, I guess.
yeah, it's probably because of
They're
me.
gonna be coming after you next, then.
God, could you? That'd be. Oh my God, I need the next. I need them to bring me up, and then that's the goal. Okay, y'all. Whoever's watching this, we need to get me big enough so that they'll be bringing me up in the next race.
Paul, thank you for that. And I want to come back to you, Paul, since you brought up property tax. One of the challenges with property tax, which we see, we're very supportive of what the governor's doing, trying to make it easier for folks with 150,000 to 250,000. But if this leading effort that he has to eliminate property tax for 60% of primary homeowners, there's an analysis that came out recently. I don't know if you've seen it from Tax Foundation. Warren cities will lose $4.6 billion of revenue year one,
12 billion. Oh wait,
$8.4 billion year two, potentially raising sales taxes to
12 billion.
15.34%. This is their analysis. Do you support or oppose the homeownership tax cuts? And if you
So you
do,
made a really important point there that they raise the sales tax, but not just that. Property taxes in Florida account for most of like a municipality's budget, and that's money they directly collect. They don't have to like get it back from the state, so they're able to like use it as they please. But this Florida administration has been trying to take away the power of local communities, local cities, and municipalities, and so this is a great way to take away power for them. It also means they just get a hell of a lot less money to fund roads and schools and emergency services and water and sewage and yada, yada, yada. Pretty much everything your local community does. And they're not just going to like stop doing those things because they can't. They're just going to make you pay fees instead of property tax or increase sales taxes. And the real problem with that is sales taxes affect people who don't who have to spend all their money. Poor people have to spend all the money. They don't have money to save. Rich people don't have to spend all the money, so sales taxes don't affect them as much. Sales tax is a very regressive tax structure because it affects poor people much more than rich people. And property taxes are progressive. Generally, richer people own property. That's how it works. So taxing property usually taxes richer people rather than poorer people. And so if we take from the property tax and add to the sales tax, we are just making poor people pay more and rich people pay less. It's ridiculous. And again, those government services that these property taxes provide, they help poor people much more than they help rich people. So we're taking away even more services from them. And that's not just like bad morally, that's bad for our economy. Because that means that people are more likely to fall into debt, more likely to fall into extreme poverty, then more likely to lose their job, more likely not to be able to give their kids a good life or a good start to life, who are then less likely to get good careers in the future, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's just a ridiculous proposal. And that's why even Ron DeSantis isn't for it at this point. You have any?
Why did Ron DeSantis then, push forward with the amendment then if he's not even for it?
Because he's stupid and he likes saying that he wants to make your taxes lower, but he's not actually going to do it unless you're rich, and he just wants to use that as propaganda.
if you support them, how would you pay for it?
Well, look, the governor recently came out and said he's not going to campaign for it. You can say it's better than nothing, but I'm not a huge fan, and here's why. My proposal does what this proposal doesn't do. What the governor called for is truly end taxes for homeowners. So this proposal will still have school taxes, so you'll still be paying when you're 90 years old and you've paid off your home. My proposal has a $1 million assessment on all taxes, so it will address 95% of homeowners and eliminate their homestead property tax. We have help for small businesses, mom and pops, that will get a major tax cut, as well as help for renters. And we do that through a combination of savings.
Those.
As conservatives, we should always save first. That means permanent DOGE in this state, not just local governments, but the state, the universities, special districts.
You can't out-efficiency $12 billion. I mean, the state budget is $114 billion. You're talking about taking away 10% of the budget. You can't just efficiency away that. Although we do need much more efficiency in the state, but the way they do it is just by cutting services to people, not by whatever.
Districts. You know, we spend, Patrick, over $200 billion of taxpayer money. Can we not save 10 to 20 billion out of that? Less than 5
It's
or
not
10%
200 billion, it's
as a
114
whole,
billion.
so that we don't have to have replacement taxes. But my plan does provide for replacement taxes for those 911 services, police and fire. When you call 911, you want them there in 2 minutes, not 20. And so we have up to 20 plus billion if we need it. in replacement taxes that's much less than the benefit.
On who?
And we're going to do
What are
that
those
by
taxes?
taxing people who vacation here and who speculate here. And I already referenced out-of-state private equity.
You get 20 billion.
Tourists will pay a little bit more. Major multinational corporations will pay a little bit more in tax fairness. That is how we'll do it. And we'll also see.
Oh, he would increase the corporate. Of the Republican candidates right now, Paul Renner isn't that bad. If he's arguing to increase the corporate tax rate, if he's arguing to take $20 billion from corporations, I'm good with that. But don't eliminate the property tax. Just got $20 billion additional to the schools. Could you imagine how much better the school system could be? Or invest that in affordable housing? Oh my God.
Seek a way to tax people who are coming into the state in a way that's constitutional and take care of those, because I am running a Florida First campaign, which means all I care about are the men, women, and children who call Florida home, and those that are coming here to vacation or speculate here can pay as part of the bill.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Paul.
You see, he saw my TikTok talking about how we need to tax people who own homes in Florida from out of state. Paul Renner's running on my campaign, on my platform.
James, how about yourself? What's your position with property tax here?
My position on property taxes?
Yes.
It's pretty simple. I don't support
Why did he need to confirm that? What?
taxes. I don't support reforming your property taxes. I support one thing and one thing only. And that is
Eliminating.
completely and totally abolishing property taxes in the state of Florida.
Completely.
Abolishing property.
Now I'm a business guy on the stage, so
Abolish property tax, but institute a hoe tax. James Fishback, 2026.
let me tell you how we do the math on it. It's pretty simple. In the last 5 years, property tax revenue in our state is up 76%. They're collecting, Patrick, 76% more today than they were 5 years ago. To the people watching at home, is your government doing a 76% better job? Are your roads 76% better? Your schools 76% better? Does anyone believe the DMV is 76% more efficient? No. So we got a problem. Guess what? It's called Doge. It's called audit.
Yeah,
it's
all right,
called
100% the last
remove,
decade.
the waste,
Okay.
fraud, and foolishness. Here are two numbers that every Floridian needs to know. There is a $20 billion increase that 76% represents. The cost, Patrick, to make sure that no one in this room and no one watching at home who calls Florida home never pays a property tax bill again is just $18 billion. So what we have to do is we have to get local governments like Broward County, Miami-Dade County, Orange, Osceola, Hillsborough, we have to get them to live within our means. Governor DeSantis just signed the state budget into law. It is the fourth year in a row. The state budget has actually gotten smaller.
While we're increasing the number of people in the state massively, we're the fastest growing state in the country, and our people get some of the fewest services for the state. That's why we see a huge literacy decrease in our students. That's why we see huge educational problems in the state. That's why we see huge teacher vacancies in the state. I mean, they're trying to sell off our state parks to become golf courses. I mean, our residents are seeing very little from the amount they pay in their property taxes. And the fact that he wants to cut even more is insane. We're going to see even less.
Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach County waste more of your hard-earned money.
Here's a real waste of money, the voucher system. I mean, $120 million of that goes to step-up families to take 3% of every single voucher. We're spending $5 billion of public funds on private institutions. 75% of that money goes to families who, it goes directly to the private institution, but it goes to families who could already afford a private education in the first place. And then most of the kids who could use help getting a private education, they're just getting $8,000, which doesn't help get into a good private school. Most good private schools cost $35,000. So a poor family will not be able to get in there anyway.
Governor, I will go in there not with a scalpel, not with a rake. I'm going in there with a chainsaw, and I'm going to save billions of dollars and pass the savings on to you.
Thank you, James. Jake.
Appreciate it, Patrick. Yeah, look, this property tax bill was far short of expectations. In our administration, we talked very clearly about what we wanted to do. It's not all property tax, it's homestead property tax. Since 2019, we've seen $31 billion raised up to $61 billion in property tax. That's a significant shift. Have you seen the commensurate growth in roads, sanitation, education, law and order, fire departments? I don't think so. We know we haven't. We know that less than 30% of our property tax dollars in the state of Florida come from homesteaded property tax. The people in these cities and counties, y'all, they have a vested interest in maintaining what they have, in padding numbers, growing budgets, and growing positions. Very simply, if I can put it clearly, we don't have an income problem. We have a spending problem at the city and county level. That has to be stopped. Now, you've seen everybody here talk about DOGE and FAFO. It's accountability. We don't have responsibility. You can't have responsibility without accountability. And the simple fact is this. When I ran JLAC, which is a little bit of a crazy opportunity in the Senate and in the House, down in the basement, I had the opportunity to shut off funding for people who had external money from the state going to them. That's cities, that's counties, and here's why. You see, they had failed their audits. They hadn't returned them for years in some instances, and the simple fact is this. When we did that, do you know what happened when we took away their money? It was very clear. They got their audits in. You know who was at the front of the line the next year? Those very same organizations. You have to hold people accountability. Without accountability, we have nothing.
You have to hold people.
Great answer, thank you. Okay,
Okay, he did what you're supposed to do. He asked for an audit. They didn't do an audit, so he said no funding, and they get that's not like a crazy thing. It's not like incredible leadership skills that he gave them an ultimatum, and then when they failed the ultimatum, he followed through. Like, great.
let's play a game here. Let's play a game here. If we can get the ladies to come up one by one, we're going to play a game called Price is Right. Okay? And here's how the game works. I will state a product in the state of Florida, okay, what the price of this product's going to be. You're going to give your number.
Like
whoever's closest, not up or down, whatever's the closest. So if you say 505 and it's 5, you say 490, the 505 wins because it's closer by the penny. So not the typical Price is Right. I'm sure we've all watched it before. We're going to play our rules, whoever's closest to the dollar. And then we'll see who knows actually what Floridians are going through on a day-to-day basis. So if we're ready, do we have the products? Please bring the products up if the ladies are ready. Let's start off with the first one. The first one is a dozen grade A eggs. Start off with a dozen grade A eggs. Ooh. You can't help them, by the way. I see the camps are here, so don't throw signs or anything. We're watching. The cameras are on you.
I mean, the extra large.
So James, how much are the price of a dozen grade A eggs?
Well, my wife forces me to buy the organic, but I know those from a previous life. Those are about $2.50.
$2.50, James. Okay. Jay, how about yourself?
About $2.75 a dozen.
$2.75 a dozen. Paul?
I was going to say 252, but just to hedge, I'll say 245. How's that? Non-organic.
245. So the average is 258, which the first one goes to Fishback. Okay. So Fishback got one so far. You would have said 252. You would have had it.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. You're on the right track. All right, next one. 1 gallon of whole milk. 1 gallon of whole milk. Jay, I'll come to you
again,
first.
which kind?
It's about $3 a gallon.
Great value or what? They're not showing us the milk.
James?
About $4.50 a gallon.
$4.50.
No, that's about
Paul?
$3.50.
$3.50.
$3.50. It's $4.22. James Fishback takes this one as well.
What brand is that? Is that Horizon?
All those trips to Publix and Live Oak, my wife sends me to.
All right, let's see the next one. 1 loaf of white bread. 1 loaf of white bread.
Wonder Bread? Is this like the artisanal stuff they have
like
there?
$2.75.
It's like probably like the cheapest stuff.
Okay, it's like $2 then. I mean,
James?
About $3.20.
$3.20.
$3.20.
Jay?
Closer.
You go with $2.65.
$2.65. This one goes to Jay Collins. $2.50. There you go. Collins picked one up. Paul, we got to get on the leaderboard.
I don't think this is that great.
Let's go next one. 1 gallon of regular unleaded gasoline. AAA prices as of today.
Now it's like
people
Fishback.
know groceries are rising.
$4.35.
They
$4.35.
know it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, they're not talking about.
Don't answer, please. If you answer,
I like
again,
how
I'm
she
gonna ask you to
actually, I
leave.
was just
Please
like,
don't do that again. I'm being respectful with you. Let's enjoy their answers.
ooh, what happened? We missed it.
35. Guys, Don't answer, please. If you answer again, I'm going to ask you to leave. Please don't do that.
Somebody shouted out of the crowd.
I'm being
again.
respectful with you. Let's enjoy their answer.
But honestly, we couldn't hear it.
James,
You
you said
shouldn't have said
450.
anything.
Next,
385.
385.
Well, I was going to say 385.
God, he needs to ask them. So why is it so expensive right now? Or do you support the reason it's so expensive right now? Do you think the war in Iran is a
That's
good
why
thing?
there's just no point in this. Like, we all know prices are up. Like,
Exactly.
we're wasting our time.
Like, will you invest in the dairy farmers in Florida to make sure our milk prices go down? No, just how expensive is it?
5-2, so I'm going with my original answer.
Which is what?
385.
Both of you guys are saying
Yeah,
385?
385.
One of you guys got to say, you got to say a different number.
All right, 390.
390. It's 381, which means this goes to Jay. So Jay's got 2 now.
Got screwed
Jay,
over.
Collins, and Fishback are
Do they,
tied
like,
at 2.
win the
Next
primary
one.
if they-
Very important to the president. This is very important to the president. A Big Mac meal.
Oh.
Oh,
I don't know that.
James.
It's probably like $8.50 at this
Big
point.
Mac meal.
Well, again, is it
Jay and I are
medium,
tied?
large? I mean, what
No,
size?
you guys are tied. Yeah.
Tied.
You're
All right,
tied
Jay,
2 and 2.
Jay, if I win this one, you got to drop the lawsuit.
Jay Collins' lawsuit? What is he talking about?
You have to drop the lawsuit. Like, against.
Oh. Collins is saying that James Fishback isn't... He's not a resident of Florida? What?
Over.
Oh, he hasn't been here for 7 years. I wonder if that's actually true. I don't know.
Big Mac meal.
Big Mac meal.
Gosh,
No.
that's almost $9.50.
$9.50. Okay, Jay.
Yeah, that's
I
reasonable.
think it's about 1175.
All right, Paul.
Oh, he knows.
Eight
That's why I said Big Mac. That's why I said
875.
McDonald's earlier to Jay.
$13.99, which goes to Collins. Collins takes the lead.
Wow.
All right. We
he
know
win
who
the Big
goes
Mac
to
meal?
McDonald's here. That's
Not
we know
me.
that for a
Not
fact.
me.
There you
You
go.
gotta hope that ice cream
me.
machine is working, brother.
All right, let's go to the
Sponsored by
next one.
McDonald's? What is this?
One package of Pampers diapers, 100 count.
A lot.
A lot. It's been a while.
I
Paul,
have a
I'll
6
come
and a
to you
4-year-old. It hasn't been that long.
first. What do you say,
It's
Paul?
like a pay raise.
Oh,
when
that
you,
many. Oh, like,
stop having
it is.
diapers.
100 of them.
Man, it's a
There's
tough one. We
100?
order them in bulk. So I'm going to say $10.
$10. Jay,
For a count of 100?
100.
Oh, 100.
100.
Is that 100?
No, is that 100? No, we're going with 100. Don't worry about this.
Yeah,
This is
why
just
is
a model
why
here.
is
This is a model.
why is
No,
she like
forgive me,
reeling
so
out?
it's
How much-
100. That's
Yeah.
26.
26? I would say $35.
Okay, all right. Jay?
46.
46. Fishback?
Mm-hmm.
I
haven't had to purchase them yet, but we may have an announcement coming soon.
Oh!
Really? Are you making that right?
He's just like on live TV. Okay, I don't have one, but I'm banging.
His wife's like, why did you just announce that?
Yeah.
No, or
I'm making an announcement about an announcement.
okay, that's how it works. Okay, so what's the number?
Gosh, I don't know.
You got to guess.
What'd you say, Jay?
So
46.
Jay said 46, Paul said 35.
He hasn't talked to Paul
say
once. He's
42.
been talking to Jay.
42. So it's 27, which Paul gets his first one. There you go, Paul. All right,
I've seen
next
a lot
one.
of those.
Next one. 24-pack of bottled water. 24-pack at Walgreens. 24-pack of bottled
At
water.
Walgreens,
Jay.
so it's more expensive, like 12.
All right, so we're...
24-pack.
This is so stupid.
Let's go
Yeah.
with
You're spending so much time on this.
about 4...
So we're not going to talk about real policy.
25.
We're going to.
Okay, 425. Paul.
Price
$4.25.
is right.
Not at Walgreens.
$15. James.
About 510.
510. This one goes to Fishback. It's 549. Okay.
At Walgreens? That's crazy.
All right, it's a tie. Paul's got one, Fishback 3. By the way, we only have 3 left. We only have 4 left, so let's see how this goes. A pound of ground beef, 70-30. James. Pound of ground beef,
Oh, 70
70-30.
being fat. Okay.
About $8, $9. $9.
$9. Okay. Jay.
$7.65 a pound.
765. Paul.
He looks smirking with that.
750. This goes to Paul because it's
$7.65.
$4.99. So there you go, Paul. You picked that one up. You can make a little more noise. This is good. Paul got a second one. All right. Next one. This is Florida. 5-pound bag of oranges. 5-pound bag of oranges. Jay.
In season, out of season. 5-pound bag.
Let's go with
$8.
about...
Oh, that's a 5-pound bag.
$9.75. Okay. Paul?
I'm going to go with $6.
$6. James?
About $8.
$8. This goes to Paul at $6.50. Paul's making a comeback. By the way, we have 2 more left. It's down to the wire. Paul made a comeback.
I know
It's
they think this is
3-3-3.
stupid too. I
Oh,
can see
yeah.
it on their
Oh,
faces.
Here we go.
I wonder if they'd have to do this with
Monthly
Byron Donalds.
average car insurance payment.
Whoa. Oh, shit.
Car insurance.
Like 600 something.
I'm
Well,
going
to
to
me,
say
this is like a
monthly.
mockery of
Monthly.
them. Like, oh, like we know you guys aren't going to win, so we're just gonna play this fun game.
100. Monthly, I would say $75.
Okay. Jay?
Monthly.
I was going like 6 months, so
Car
No, no,
insurance.
I
Car
go higher,
insurance.
105.
Car
insurance?
insurance payment. You want to
Can I
change
go
it?
back? Yeah,
Yes.
because I'm paying monthly now, so I'm going to go higher.
Go for
How
it.
about $250?
$250. Okay. Jay?
250 is a little bit
It's
high.
$235.
$235. James?
I can tell you I'm paying more on the insurance than I am on the car payment. So it's, in our case, it's about $350.
Monthly?
$350. It's actually $181, which means this goes
Yeah.
to Jay. Jay picked it up, so Jay's at 4 now. Last but not least, either Jay's going to win it or someone's
They all
going to
have
tie
really
it.
nice cars.
Monthly rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in
Oh,
Florida.
wait,
Monthly
I
rent
forgot. I have a 13-year-old car that's 300,000 miles. My car insurance is going to be lower than most people's.
for a 1-bedroom apartment in Florida.
1,700.
Jay, 1,700.
For average 1-bedroom, 1,200.
Is it statewide?
Statewide,
Statewide, it's about 1,300.
1,300. Paul,
I think it's higher statewide, 2,400.
2,400.
For a
One
1-bedroom?
1685. Jay Collins picks it up. Make some noise.
Okay, I'm maybe saying
All right,
studio
Jay.
for 1,200, but
That's a pretty big victory right there that you had. All right, so let's transition to the next story. Byron Donalds is not here. He's watching. His team is probably watching. What message do you have for Byron Donalds, who posted their numbers, almost $100 million they've raised. On every poll, he's ahead, 48, 58%. Raised 10 times more money than everybody combined. These are the numbers that they're putting up there. He's getting
was the only
endorsement
thing they
from the
talked about,
president and many others. He's got another one today as well, I believe, from the AG, if I'm not mistaken. They made sure they put it out there to the public. What message do you have for Byron Donalds for not being here right now? James, I'll come to you first.
I don't know if I'll be able to put this on YouTube, what James is about to say.
Well, my message is pretty simple. Byron Donalds made history this past week by raising $100 million, the most ever. Our campaign made history by being the first campaign in Florida running for governor to visit all 67 counties. That's not hard to
doubt
do.
that.
That's
I'm
not
sure
easy
I
to
would
do.
have done that.
And I can tell you that when you're in small counties like Liberty and Dixie and Hernando, but big counties like this one where I grew up, you really appreciate the state that we have. I'm a 4th-generation Floridian, born and raised. I was born right here in Broward County Public Schools my entire life. Here, my dad ran a small business here. My
And I was not
granddad,
gonna go
after
to
World
Broward
War
County
II, was a
Public
professor
Schools.
at Florida Atlantic University up the road, and my great-granddad, after World War I, ran a small hotel on Fort Lauderdale Beach.
old is he?
This is the greatest state
35
in
or
the
something.
country, and we have to keep it that way.
You say this, the greatest.
Fantastic. Jay, how about yourself?
That was barely a message about
When I talked to Byron on this, it's very clear. We had this little thing in 1776. One person doesn't get to maintain control and say they're in charge, and this is how it's going to work. We don't do kings in the United States of America. We sure don't do them in Florida. Look, if you can't show up on the debate stage, you can't show up in the community, you can't try to sit here and fight to earn the right to lead the free state of Florida, what are you doing? If you're that
So
far
31,
ahead, you've raised that much money, why are you so scared to get on the debate stage?
Yeah, be braver,
I understand
Byron
it's about
Donalds.
politics,
Say
but you
it.
got to grow a spine. You got to stand
Be
up.
braver.
And you got to fight for the people of Florida. Guys, it's that simple. Nothing's going to be given to you. When I got shot, blown up, and wanted to requalify as a Green Beret, they didn't give it to me. I got up, I fought for it, and I earned it. It's exactly the same thing with the governor's mansion. If you want to be the next leader, you got to
Where'd you go
stand
to?
up,
I'm gonna
fight for it,
Georgetown.
earn it. That is the free
He didn't
state of Florida
graduate
model.
from Georgetown. James Fishback and graduated Georgetown.
Paul?
Every voter in this audience, everyone watching, everyone in the state deserves a debate. And it's disrespectful of Byron Donalds not to come on this stage and make his case as to why he is better able to lead the state for the next 8 years. But there's a reason to make the case as to why he's better qualified than the other candidates, but there's a reason he won't, because he's not. And the other thing about Byron Donalds, Patrick, you mentioned all the money he's raised. What is so
Did you hear that? Were you listening?
No.
He was like, there's a reason he won't come up to make the case about how good he is, about how much better he is than the other constituents, because he's not. And like, I don't know, he delivered that really poorly. Like, I think that should have been a good line, but he just delivered it horribly.
Offensive to me is he's raised all this money, and yet he took advantage of a Democrat-imposed constitutional amendment to take taxpayer funding money to run his campaign. As a conservative, I was not even going to think about taking that money. He's going to get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your pocket when you can't pay your bills with all the items we just talked about. And that is not conservative. To me, it's disqualifying, and he should be ashamed of himself. But that's what's happening.
So, an open-ended question, any one of you can take it first. Why does he have such a big lead? Why do majority of Floridians count on him to be their next governor, not any one of you?
Well, I'll tell you what, with the president's endorsement, it's very clear. He came out here in March. He's had a 17-month head start to many people. Guys, why are we doing that? He's been out there for this long. What's the leader in the clubhouse? It's not.
Why are we running for office for that long? Why are we asking? Why are we talking to people? What? That's a stupid answer.
Byron Donalds. It's undecided. Let's put it another way. 42% of people have had 17 months, give or take, to choose Byron Donalds. And what do? They said no. They're not picking him. We don't bequeath anybody. You don't just get it because you want it. You get it because you earn it.
Republicans are.
Why is he out there? He's been out for a long time. Yes, he's getting all the money. Yes, he has endorsements, but he doesn't have the will of the people. And we forget history. Governor Ron DeSantis wasn't polling in first place 8 years ago today. Adam Putnam was. What does history show?
Yeah, but he
us?
had numbers.
Adam Putnam isn't the governor. How about 8 years before that? Rick Scott. Same exact thing. That was running against our Attorney General McCollum. And where do we find ourselves today? We find ourselves in the exact same position. You got to show up. You got to earn it, because the free state of Florida is full of Florida guy and Florida gal. And you don't bend the knee to anybody. You stand up for your rights and you vote how you choose.
Why would he say Florida is Florida
James,
guy
why do you
and
think the
Florida
majority
gal?
of Floridians are choosing him over any one of you?
Well, I reject the premise, because you're referring to polls, the same polls that have been wrong time and time again. They were wrong about President Trump. The same exact pollsters that now say that Byron Donalds is ahead, even though you can't find somebody if your life depended on it who loves Byron Donalds. They're now telling you that Byron Donalds is the most popular guy in Florida. Here's the truth. When I travel to small counties all over the state, and big counties like the one that I was raised in here in Broward, when I meet with voters, they want someone who's going to do three things. Someone who's going to fight for law and order, not someone who, like Byron Donalds, fought in 2019 to let criminals steal up to $1,000 of your stuff and get away with it. We can't have that. The only place criminals should be is rotting in jail, and Byron Donalds is the wrong choice for that.
Paul, I'm gonna come to you.
Just the viciousness. If you steal $1,000, you should die in jail.
And I want to get your thoughts as well.
Yeah, I want to respond if I could.
Sure
I will.
He's someone to throw a tantrum, like a little
Oh
man
yeah.
tantrum.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's honestly very composed, but if you break that, I'm sure it's like a whirlwind.
Sure.
Come to you, and I'll share this if you want to go to it or not. Even if we look at Kalshi right now, which a lot of folks right now are looking at Kalshi more than they're looking at polls, because it's real money
Are they
that people are
sponsored?
putting up. $7.9 million, almost $8 million of volume is on Kalshi, and they have Byron Donalds at 95.5%.
How much of that money is from out of state?
There you go.
And
How much of that money is from?
and
How much of that money is from a Middle Eastern country?
Okay,
And how
so
much?
That's a fair question.
And if I may, if
They're
I may-
rigging it. They're
Hold on a
rigging the
second.
election.
Is he talking about Israel? Is that what he's saying?
Probably.
Hold on a second.
Okay,
Let me-
later, Semite.
And how much
Jesus.
of the money he's raised that you talked about is also out of state. The special interests are desperate to get rid of Ron DeSantis so they can have somebody and install someone who will do the special interest bidding, and that is Byron Donalds.
Yeah, you're
So
all just
if you go, hold on a second, if you go around to the grassroots, and everybody on this stage knows this, the one thing that stands out, and it must be unlike any other election where the front runner or someone endorsed by the president, where the base, the activists, the people that pay the most attention to these elections do not want Byron Donalds. And I say to people, look, you can go onto my website at voterenner.com, but the more research you do, the more you're going to want me
plug.
for your
That's a good
governor,
plug.
the less you're going to want Byron Donalds for your governor. And that is the signal I see in this race, Patrick, is that the more people look at Byron, the more they walk away and they're looking for somebody else as their next governor.
So,
Jay, 30
so
seconds,
Donald
and I have a
Trump's
follow-up
wrong.
for all of you,
Wrong
please.
on this issue.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna reiterate the exact same thing to a degree. Look, you go around the counties, people say the same exact.
Look, I'm not going to add anything to this conversation. You don't even have to listen to what I'm going to say. It's going to be stupid, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Thing. They don't want Byron. They love President Trump. They're not enamored with Byron Donalds. They meet him, they see him, they hear him, and they like him less moment by moment by moment. The simple fact is this: follow the money. Look at the lobby corps. Look at what they want. They don't want a leader who's going to stand strong for the people of Florida. They want someone who's going to bend a knee to special interests, play games, and be a puppet for what's ahead. Guys, that's not the Florida way.
Fishback hasn't said anything about Israel either yet.
So the follow-up then would be for all of you is the following.
Well,
It's
except
very
maybe
obvious
he
all
says
of you are
that.
complimentary of the governor, Governor DeSantis. Every one of you has been very complimentary of the governor. The numbers shows he went from the first time winning by 34,000 votes, but the second time he won by 1.5 million votes. He's done an amazing job. Everybody loves living here. Most people do. Republicans are very happy with him. I guess one of the things would be important to say is, what do you think is different from Byron Donalds than the current governor, Ron DeSantis? I'll come to you first, James.
Wow, well, we're going to need another 3 hours for that.
Take 60 seconds.
What
and
is
we'll come
the
back.
time limit?
No, I actually want to hear your argument. Go for it.
Yeah. Well, the three biggest things right off the bat is that Byron Donalds took $5 million from Mark Zuckerberg to build data centers in every single
didn't say Mark
neighborhood in
Zuckerberg
this
this
state.
time.
Ron DeSantis has been clear. Ron DeSantis has been clear that you're not going to build data centers in our neighborhoods, and as governor, I will
Except he's
reject
allowed
and remove
data centers
every single
already.
one of them. That's the number one difference between them. Number two, Ron DeSantis is a law and order governor. He's not the kind of guy who's going to let criminals steal $1,000 of your stuff and in the
this
name
again.
of equity, get them out of jail for free. That is exactly what Byron Donalds did
Byron
as
Donalds
a
is not-
legislator in this state. And
Byron Donalds is not for cashless bail. Like, there's no way. What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Okay.
the third one, if I can be brutally honest, Byron Donalds can't serve Florida because he doesn't know what real Florida is like. If you want to fight for citrus farmers in Frostproof, in Sebring, and in Avon Park, you have to have grown up in these places. I remember smelling citrus growing up in West Davie. I remember
and now
what
our
cattle
climate's
ranchers
destroying any
had
chance
20,
of having
30
citrus
years
farms
ago.
here.
Byron Donalds was born and raised in New York City, and it shows, and we need a true Floridian to lead this state.
Thank you, James.
He's a Mamdani commie.
Yeah, look, Byron Donalds is all talking points all the time. He'll tell you he wants a balanced budget, but in Congress, he's never once sponsored
he right
anything
about
to
that?
send that out to the states for ratification.
Crazy if you're just lying about that.
For that matter, unlike me, he's never balanced a budget in his whole time in Congress. The governor is a principled conservative, and Byron Donalds, as James just said, is taking tons of money from big tech that want to fill up our state with hyperscale data centers, and that will not happen on my watch. When I'm governor, we'll come in the special session for affordability and stop the construction of those data centers. This is a clear issue
Saying
that
ban all
is
data centers?
distinctly
Is he saying
against
he'll
the
pass a moratorium
interest
on data
of a
centers?
Florida
That's the
First
word I want to hear, is
agenda
moratorium.
that is distinctly going to hurt our rural communities and all of our communities in driving up electric rates, in damaging our aquifer, in damaging our environment, and they know it. But Byron Donalds has been singing their tune ever since he got that money until this week. He's starting to listen to his pollsters, and he realizes this is not a popular position to take. My position, and I think James's as well, has been very crystal clear. We're not going to allow these data centers in our state, full stop, period.
Jay, specific
I wonder if
question.
Jay's going to say anything about
Ron
that.
DeSantis, Byron Donalds. How different will it be?
I want to hear Jay's on
Incredibly
the AI
different.
data centers.
The number one thing is courage and a moral compass. Guys, Ron DeSantis wasn't America's governor until he stepped into the breach and protected our people in our way.
Every time he speaks, is I care about values. I like good things and I don't like bad things. And we need more good things. And the way we get those good things is by doing good things and avoiding bad things.
Of life when the whole world was folding down on top of us. They muzzled our kids, they took away individual freedoms, and they crushed small business. But one man stood. Do you believe that Byron
What is that
Donalds
about
will
COVID?
stand and take on the onslaught of everybody else across this world? Absolutely not. He does not have that fortitude nor that courage.
Like
Number
armies
two,
against Florida?
it's performance. Look, I'm a retired Green Beret. I served in the Senate for 3 years. I'm the Lieutenant Governor of Florida. The best indicator of future performance is past performance. And the simple fact is this: Ron DeSantis shows up, works hard, gets things done. What has Byron ever done? What has he been successful at? What has he done that's made a difference? And let's talk about data centers. Guys, we all agree it's the hyperscalers that are the issue. These experimental hyperscalers that are taking $50,000 to $100,000 a city worth of.
Okay, so he seems to be taking a nuanced position. He's only against the experimental data centers, not against all data
But
centers.
what does experimental mean?
Power and water
Are
up
all
to
data
the ones that
centers
don't donate to
experimental
his-
at this point?
That's an
No,
incredible
just ones that don't
number.
donate
That's
to
a
his campaign.
shocking revelation. But we have to protect our people. It's about power, it's about water, and it's about clarity and performance and protection. And the last thing is this. Look, Byron Donalds is a two-time felon. Byron Donalds, frankly, does not believe in law and order. Byron Donalds wanted to change the age of a minor from 16 to 25. That would have made career criminals. He also
Age of a minor from 16 to 25. I think he means the age of consent, but there's no way he wanted to do that. Byron Donalds felonies. Whoa. Okay, marijuana. All right.
Those are over 20 years ago.
Wait. He was
That's
arrested in connection with a bank debit card scheme and initially faced a felony theft charge, pleaded no contest, so 2 years probation. Okay. But then it was expunged. All right, I don't know what that's about. But all right,
It
is
was
it?
over 2 decades ago. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. But what was that last thing? Byron Donalds' age of consent. Congress about to limit youthful offender status to 18. Oh, okay, all right. I don't know. I can't find what he's talking about there. But there's no way he tried to drive the age of consent up to 25.
wanted to
It's
raise
crazy.
the age of the line
Then we
for
couldn't-
felonious
no,
crime
I
from
couldn't have
750
sex,
to
you couldn't.
1,500. Guys, that's not the way we do this. But in the summer of love, when law enforcement were on their heels, what did Byron do? He eulogized George Floyd. It's still on his congressional website. Guys, that's not good enough.
What a villain. He was sad that a guy got brutally murdered by the police. How horrible.
That's not the Florida way.
And
Patrick, if I can jump into, look, I talked about we need a governor
let me do
that's
this,
a
Paul. Hang tight
battle-tested.
for me. Hang tight. I'll come to you. Let me ask this question for you guys because I have 3 other topics to get into. We have to get into AI data centers and a couple other games we're still going to play as well. Just a question for you. So
More
if
games.
he is, let's say he's at 48 to 58%. Let's assume that's the number that we
I don't
see
assume
everywhere.
that's correct.
I'm going to assume. I'll take the assumption and I'll look bad myself. But I'm going to assume it's 48 to 58. Okay. If we look strictly on the Republican primary side
So many
for
questions
Florida,
on Donalds.
what if 2 of you dropped out to get the percentage to go up on the other individual to go up against Byron Donalds? Would you entertain that
Who here thinks that they might drop out soon?
idea? And if not, this is the next part that I kind of want to go. We just went against Byron Donalds. Then we went on Byron Donalds compared to Ron DeSantis. But let's talk about the folks on the panel. I'm going to open up the next 10 minutes for you individually to ask each other any questions. It's open. You're officially the moderator. Each of you gets to ask the other person a question and address certain issues because the audience has to decide right now, hey, if you guys continue going like this, it's
Well, I like this.
done.
I mean,
It's
like,
slam
it's a real
dunk
debate, at
for
least.
Byron Donalds. Right? We have to now decide which of you 3 can go up against them one-on-one. So I'll open it up. Who would like to go first?
Well, I'll answer. I think I'm answering your question. Is that Byron Donalds is the name you know for this reason. For the last 5 years in Congress, D.C. is a very dangerous place, but the most dangerous place in Washington, D.C. is between Byron Donalds and a TV camera. He has never missed an interview, but he's missed over 150 votes in his 5 years in Congress. Why would you give a guy a job promotion that doesn't show up for the job he has? And so we are all competing up here, and I would just point you to
To be fair, if he showed up with those votes, he'd vote poorly. So I'm glad he didn't show up, I guess. But
leadership background, who's been tried, who's had positions of trust, been that battle-tested leader. I don't know that Byron Donalds has ever run a lemonade stand. And so voters,
he sold drugs, though.
He has made some money, and you know what, James? He's also, and you know this, he's also making a lot of money in Congress. And it's very interesting to me. He left the Florida House, not a millionaire. He goes up to Washington, D.C. He's trading $11 million worth
saying
of
banned
stock
stock
trades,
traders,
missing required
banned stock trades, and now
disclosures.
we're
And yet he
legislature?
comes back and he even reports that they're worth millions of dollars. He and his wife. Comes back, and in his state filing as to how much he's worth, guess. We just did the eggs. Guess how much Byron Donalds is worth? $89,000. He is dead broke as a congressman. And if you believe that, you should vote for him for governor, I guess.
Okay,
but he is,
Paul,
he
I
is
want to
running.
stay on this.
That's
That
a
point's
good
been
one.
clear. Thank you for that. Let's stay on the topic. It's now.
Well, I don't know.
the
I
three
mean,
of
I don't
you.
know that voters know that.
was-
I
Wait,
respect
wait,
you.
wait,
I don't know that they
I
know
know,
that.
but we've
He's not letting.
The last question was, how is Byron Donalds, like, you know, talk shit about Byron Donalds? And then he said, you guys have 10 minutes to roam free. And he said, hey, stop talking shit about Byron Donalds.
gone 10
They
minutes
need to
into
know that.
Byron's, and
And I'm telling you that.
They got plenty of it, which is great. Now let's talk about the three of you. Open mic, address any question against your peers, because the audience has to now see between the three of you. Some people don't follow politics as closely as others. Some people are not following all the stories. Some people are not up on the news. What questions do you have for each other, specifically to the three of you? James, please take the lead.
Jay, if they're going to build a
James is
large
charged it.
experimental data center in a neighborhood here in Broward County or up in Sumter County, and you had the opportunity to stop it, to ban new experimental data centers in Florida,
gonna say
would
yes,
you do that,
experimental
yes or
ones.
no?
I'm not going to give you a yes or no. I'm going to give you the real answer
Dumb.
here. Look, life is very, very clear. Well, let me finish. Here's the
Okay, sorry.
facts. You have to understand governance, and you have to understand that you just don't get to drop bombs. That's not how government
They're
works.
going to bomb our community with rising electricity rates.
So-
They're going to
Shit.
destroy our water.
Our bills are
just
already
James,
the
James.
highest. Electric bills
Yeah,
are
you're
the
right.
highest
Yeah,
in the nation.
I would, but not at the state level. We want to empower the local people, the local governments
The
to do the
local
right
people
thing.
don't want anything
You're
to do with data
absolutely
centers, Jay.
right, and they should ban that at that local level,
We
at
can
the
do
city
it
or
at the
county.
state level, though.
Once government starts reaching in and clawing back,
Oh,
it
this
never
this entire session, this entire past year has been taking away power from municipalities. Oh, but on this is what municipalities should be able to decide on, so that, you know, these A data centers can buy the city council and the county commission's votes on this stuff. It's ridiculous. I mean, how stupid of a politician is this? Just say yes, I'm going to ban all experimental data centers in residential areas. James Fishback gave him an easy out on that one, because he can still crawl back to his, you know, AI overlord and say, but I'll let you build, you know, out of residential areas and non-experimental ones. Like, oh my God.
slows down. I'm at the state level. Nobody wants the state reaching in. Do you want the federal government in your life more?
What we want is we
Come
want
on.
a leader to stand up and ban data centers in Florida, and as
That's not
governor,
how
I'll
our
be proud to
system
do
works.
that.
He didn't write anything there.
What we want
Look
is
at this.
we
Come
want
on.
a leader to stand up and
He's not
ban
writing
data
anything.
centers in Florida, and as
That's not
governor,
how
I'll
our
be proud to
system
do
works.
that.
He's running James Fishback.
So let me be clear here, James. What you're talking about isn't a governor. Are you going to be a king? Are you going to be the king of Florida?
Listen,
is that what you're going to do?
What is
Come
a
on.
dictatorship is a billionaire
Oh, no,
like
he
Mark
was
Zuckerberg
crossing the
running
line. He's gonna
roughshod
use
over
next.
Tallahassee saying, it doesn't matter what the people think. We are going to actually build a data center that's going to destroy our communities. Jay, can I ask you yes or no question? Have there been long-term health studies done on data centers, yes or no?
Yes.
There have? There have? That's not true. Where's the study from?
I'll tell you what, James, I don't have it on me right now. Look at this. Do you see it here? Yes, there have been.
Data centers
multiple
just
countries.
came about 4 years ago. There's
they
been
did
no
not.
long-term health studies. I stand with
Okay,
RF.
well, no, AI data centers maybe 4 years ago. We're not data centers in general. There are health studies on them, and they are negative, and they do show like signs. I mean, long term, depending on how long term you want to think, but data centers have been around. Like they're not a new
Well,
thing.
there's already like 4,000 something data centers in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to have EMF. We're not going to have audible noise pollution next to our elementary schools with Project Tamgo, and certainly not next to the community in Fort Meade. Hire me as governor. We will ban every data center in all 67 counties.
Well, James,
Let's just see if they're long term health studies on data center. Oh my God! It said on age of consent. I mean, there are health studies. Long term is, you know, a variable.
let me ask you a question. How do you think the people in the cities and counties are going to feel about the state government coming in and taking control of that? They let me finish talking, man. Please, come on. Look, the reality is they want local leadership. They want to be empowered. Yes,
this guy's enjoying himself.
They do. They want to have say in their local life. Brother, you know this. You grew up in a small town, just like I did.
Where was it? Where did I grow up?
I think you grew up in a small town in Florida.
He already said Broward. Yeah, Paul Renner sitting back.
Grew up here in Florida.
I think you called Madison home, right?
I grew up here in Florida, right? All right, case closed. Drop the lawsuit.
Oh, really?
The lawsuit is living here for the past 7 years. So,
James,
but also, damn.
Let me be clear on this, buddy. We're not going to discuss that, and the reality is...
Why not? Why don't we discuss the fact that a Montana man hired a California lawyer to sue Governor DeSantis' administration to remove a fourth-generation Floridian from your ballot? You're trying to steal the election with Byron Donalds.
Montana? You want to do that all day?
Because the
Jay Collins, Florida. He was born... he was born in Montana.
The reality is, this isn't about large clicks. It's not about the games you play.
You literally just said, I'm from Florida, and now you're suing me because I'm not from Florida. Will you drop the lawsuit? Yes.
Again, it's not because you're not from Florida. It's because you lived here outside the state in the past 7 years.
No.
James?
You're trying to steal the election like the Democrats did to President Trump.
There you go again. James. You're killing me, man. The reality is this. That is a matter for the court. I actually respect the judicial system. We have to make sure that we do that the right way. James, I know you don't respect the judicial system. Your whole life has shown that. The simple facts are this.
Have I been arrested? I think you're confusing me with Byron Donalds. He's the one who's been arrested for 2 felonies.
Sure. The simple fact is this. That is a matter for the courts. We respect the judicial system.
Why couldn't Jay Collins just be a little bit better so he could actually get James Fishback or something? Because James Fishback is just running away with this. I mean, Paul Renner is better, but Fishback's running away with it. And if Collins just a little bit better could actually get him on the court cases. He literally has a case where he assaulted a minor, allegedly.
And that's how that works. But look, when the
court said that Roe v. Wade allowed the murder of children, did you respect that decision?
When it comes to the question at hand, on the data centers,
Plessy v. Ferguson allowed the segregation of black children. Did you defend that decision?
You have to, James, stop playing games, man. There you go. You want to play games. You want to do the things.
Oh, but he's going to play the game later in the show, I bet.
Dude, just stop, man. The data...
Stop asking me questions I'd have to answer. Just let me spew nothing from my mouth.
Centers are an issue. Hyperscalers
What
are
are you going to do about it?
I'm trying to tell you. Do you want to let me talk, or are you just going to keep interrupting?
Hey, Patrick, can I jump in? Because I feel like if we...
I'm going to give Jay 30 seconds to respond.
Can I jump in?
May I? Hang on 1 second. Jay, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond. Then I'm going to go to Paul. Paul, you get to address any question to anybody else. I'm going to come to you right afterwards. Jay, go for it. Finish your thoughts,
thanks, Patrick.
please.
Look, the simple fact is this. When it comes to data centers, you have to have guardrails. You have to lead. And the people in the state of Florida don't want the state of Florida jumping in over the top. They want to have local rule. You have to...
But localities are not allowed to create property taxes. They want local rule. But you can't say no to schools of hope, but just invade public schools. They want local control. But you can't regulate your water quality. That was a bill that Randy Maggard introduced. I mean, it's so stupid.
Respect their ability to do the right thing and put that forward. But you have to have a backstop. You have to have the state willing to step in and make a difference. That's how government works. You don't want the federal government solving all your problems. Any government big enough to give you anything can take anything. That's the problem. That's the reality.
But that's a complete... We're not saying give anything. We're just saying stop data centers from being built. Like, it's literally nothing to do with what he just said. Oh no, I hope I didn't lose the place.
Local people, the local governments, to do the right thing. James,
you're trying to steal the...
When you listen to this, let me be clear on this, guys. All three of us are very wary of hyperscalers. You should be afraid. They're selling you snake oil, and it's a problem. But we have to make sure we have guardrails because nothing in life is static. It continues to evolve.
I want to thank Kamala Harris for the word salad.
Thank you.
That was pretty
Paul,
clear,
go for
James.
it.
Well, look, first of all, I don't know how much the people listening or in the audience care about these personal disputes. If we were at a dining room table, you know where the kids' table is right now with all the back and forth, frankly. And so I do have a question for Jay because, Jay, you've said that it's not possible for the state to regulate hyperscale data centers at the state level. Why do you believe that is? And if you believe the state shouldn't be involved, why did you sponsor a bill to give them permanent tax incentives at the expense of everybody watching tonight?
Well, Paul, that's a great question. You're doing what often is the case. You're misrepresenting. The simple fact is this. I believe in local governments.
You sponsored it. You sponsored the bill.
I believe in the local government's right
the bill.
to enforce and take care of business. And yeah, I did. But Paul, do you think that...
I hate his voice. He's like, he thinks he's doing so well. But Paul, did you know this?
Learn things? Did I run that bill? I did. But
Yeah,
the
you
simple
did.
fact is this.
He just tried to ask him a question. He realized the answer was yes. And so he immediately backtracked and answered it.
I learned you ran the bill.
Paul, you gonna let me finish, or are you gonna play the same games? Come on. Jeez Louise, man.
Jay, I've asked you a simple question. I'm not playing games. My question is, why do you think the state cannot regulate, as I will, and I think James will, on day one, as soon as my hand leaves the Bible with my wife when I'm sworn in as governor, we're going into a special session on affordability. We will stop these hyperscale data centers. And my question is, if you understand Florida well enough to be its governor, why do you think it's not legal or constitutional to pass restrictions on a hyperscale data center? We have data centers, but these massive data centers
There you go.
that drive up electric rates, that damage our aquifer, it is in the people's
might not
interest
be
and in a
against
Florida First agenda
smaller
to
data
pursue that. Why do you believe that's not possible?
Paul, I'm pretty sure you voted for these as well. And the
No, no,
simple
no.
fact is this,
No, no,
not
no.
all data centers are hyperscalers.
I've asked you a
and-
question you refuse to answer.
No.
Why do you think the state cannot regulate hyperscale data centers? It's a
I don't
simple...
think it's the
only-
state's business.
Here.
I think you should push that down to the local level and let the local government step in. You should have a moratorium. They should put a pause in things. And they should.
Yes or no? Can the state regulate hyperscale
I hope he
data
brought
centers?
those himself, but I
This
bet
is
they
the
did.
answer. This is the answer. This is the answer. Paul,
Wait. He put up. I think he put up the wrong thing. He said, "Should the state regulate data centers?" He put up the no.
Let's just state the obvious. They're not serious about running against Byron Donalds. They're worried about me. And guys, here's the problem.
I don't think they are. He's doing really bad.
Not a
Paul,
bit.
no one's buying your game.
Jay,
You're like a walking white paper, man. Come
Jay,
on.
if I'm worried about you, why the hell are you suing me to remove me from the ballot?
So the last person that we need to get to is Jay. Jay,
Why would Patrick Bet David do this? Like this? I mean, actually, I love that he did. This is good. He hasn't been the worst moderator. Like he's been pretty good.
Yeah.
do you have any questions for either opponent?
Well, I think you should answer my question before he asks a question.
Well,
How
I
about
haven't
that?
had an opportunity
He's still
because
not
you wanna
answered.
have shenanigans
He's still-
and tomfoolery over here,
Answer the
Paul.
question. It's a simple question. I
Good
gave you a
Lord.
green paddle, a red paddle. It's a yes or no. Can the state regulate? No. Hey, we don't need from the peanut gallery. What can you do at the state level to regulate data centers? And if you don't believe that's possible, state it. But you're.
It's not about banning them as you go in. It's about having guardrails.
You just
Do
heard it. He will not ban data centers.
No.
I will as governor. There will not be a data
Stop
center in the
playing
state
the
of
games.
Florida.
There
the
you
only
go
one
again.
playing games
Are you
is you
kidding
by
me?
letting Mark
No,
Zuckerberg and George
no.
Soros build data centers in our neighborhoods.
Guys, give me a break on this. Good Lord.
Why don't you give the people
me a
of
break
Fort
on these
Meade and
questions.
Sumter County a break? They do
I
not
do.
want a data center.
You're right.
Yeah.
But it's how you're doing it. Are you saying that Governor Ron DeSantis handled this wrong? Are you saying he doesn't know how to handle his business? Because what has he done? He has guardrails.
Are you
to the
saying our
left.
baby boy Ron DeSantis, our sacred leader, was wrong here?
Right, James, that's a fact. He didn't ban them. What he said is, you can't pass the power to the cost of the power to the people, nor the water. But the reality is, you have to make sure that you know who that third
didn't know how to
party
respond.
is.
He didn't
Who's
ever
the
come back to
person
that.
behind the data center? You all want to play these hyperbolic games. Little childish here, a lot childish there. Guys, the reality is, how we do this matters.
Okay.
Guardrails continue to grow with the problem.
Listen,
this is not a static environment, and things will continue. The reality is, do you believe that all data centers are exactly the same?
Yes, I think they're all bad. I think they
You
are.
think they're all bad?
I just
Yes,
want
I
to
think they're
say this
lie. I
while
think they're
we're
terrible for our
going through this. And
communities.
Jay,
I think they're really
we
bad.
ran a poll. We ran a poll of the audience that's watching. And remember, the audience that's watching this is mainly the audience that's interested in Florida. And the question is how they feel about data centers.
What?
The audience voted, 85% of the audience voted that they oppose data centers.
Perfect.
Now, that's the audience. We don't know what
Let's
that
settle
means. That's
this
what
right
the
now.
audience
And
is saying.
it's time we
Let
regulate them
me-
at the state level.
Let me
Hard
go
stop.
to
It's very-
James, respectfully, Jay, please. Do you have any questions you'd like to ask your opponent?
Yeah, Paul, you know, I hear you talk about this. I'm curious, what are you going to do that's different than James? How would you work with him if he were elected governor? What would you do? Tell me about your relationship and how that's going to work.
What? What the? How horrible of a question! If James was elected governor, so not of me, how would you? What would you do for the people of Florida? What a stupid question! How would you make people's life better if my opponent was elected to office?
I don't even understand your question. I'm not working with.
Don't you?
I'm not even. I mean, I don't understand your. I'm not. You're talking about a hypothetical. I'm not interested in working with anybody. I'm running to be the next
Are you?
governor and put Florida first.
Yeah, Paul Renner is the most competent guy up here. Like, what an insane question. He should have taken it though. Like, he should have said, "This is what I do for the people of Florida."
Paul, there's clear corroboration.
No, there's not.
Clear
No, there's not.
collaboration.
No, there's
And
not.
the
If there
simple
were clear
fact is, I
collaboration,
don't
we
think
wouldn't
you're
both be on the
serious.
stage right now. I think
Really?
that's obvious.
Paul, there you go, man. You're killing me, Smalls. You are. Look, what I want to know is,
God, this is such a bad performance.
how are you going to work with other people? Let me make it a little bit more simple here. How are you going to work with other people on this stage if they're elected governor? What would you do to support them? How are you going to make a difference with them?
That was the same question, huh?
He's asking, like, if one of them were to win, how he would.
Yes. If James were to win, or I guess anybody at this point, how would he work as a guest, a member of the House, to create change for Floridians? Like,
I don't have to work with. I don't know what you're talking about. You're
Are
asking
you
me
a
to
patriot?
work
Do you
with
believe in
James.
our way?
Look, I hope that a Republican wins in November. Are you asking whether I'll break my back to campaign for Byron Donalds? Probably not. I'm not going to vote for a Democrat, but you said you'll break your back for him. So is that how you feel? Is that how you're going
So
to work
you're going to
with him?
vote for a Democrat, or you're just
No,
not
I'm
going to
not
vote?
going to vote for a Democrat. I've never voted for a Democrat. Look, Jay,
So
you know,
look-
it's interesting to me that you're having this conversation with James about residency. As you know, you have to live here 7 years, but curiously, you've only made that requirement yourself as of January. You only moved into the state in 2019.
wow. Damn.
Just a quick show. Just a quick show of hands on the stage and in the audience. Quick show of hands if you voted for Ron DeSantis in 2018.
Oh.
Jay, why didn't you vote for Ron DeSantis in 2018?
Well, sorry, I wasn't really listening to your question. to
Did
be
you
honest
vote
with
for
you.
Ron DeSantis in
What
2018?
a
Yes or no?
stupid answer. How can he screw that up even? Like, literally, it was just said, yeah, I didn't live here then. I wish I could have voted for him, the best governor, whatever, free state of Florida.
In 2018?
Yes. That's a no. That's a no.
Yeah, so, you know, the fact is, James, I had to sit and think through my career here, and I understand that you haven't done anything to go out there and actually put yourself forward or serve the people, and the best thing you've done is whatever you're doing with your life right now. But look, man,
How is he this bad and, like, even insulting people? The best thing I was looking through my career, which you don't have that much of, and the best thing you're doing now is what you're doing with your life right now.
I served our nation. I did for 23 years. My wife did 20 years. Paul did over 20 years. You're the only one on the stage who actually hasn't done that. So you're going to say that because I was serving my nation, bleeding for our nation, breaking my butt off everywhere I went to do the right thing, that's a problem?
No,
James,
I asked you if you
I served
voted
my
for Ron
nation.
DeSantis in 2018.
That's not relevant, James, because
No,
the
it
simple fact
absolutely
is
is relevant.
Where was I?
Hey, and Patrick, if I can
Serving
jump
our
in,
nation.
Jay did ask me a question of how I would work with a hypothetical governor and a hypothetical election,
Yes.
and you just said a minute ago, Byron's got this thing taken care of. But here's what I'll say. How will I work with the legislature is the same way I worked with the legislature when I was Speaker of the House.
Yeah, as I say, he should have just taken this opportunity to say that, like, I mean, it's a great question for him.
The governor said that the 2 years that I led the legislature in the Florida House were the most consequential 2 years of any legislature in America.
And yet he didn't choose you to be the lieutenant governor.
Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me, because we had a Senate president who was much more moderate than me, and I'd take a bullet for her. She's a great lady, but much more moderate, but because we criticized in private and praised in public. And what I see here, Jay, look, we all appreciate your service, but what I'm questioning in your temperament tonight is your judgment. And so you have to be able to work with everyone. And we worked and united conservatives when I was Speaker of the House in ways that you can only pretend you have done in your 36 months in office. And so at the end of the day, you want somebody who truly is not just, and I respect your service immensely, but that's not alone a reason to make you governor. And I've outlined, look, I've been my own business owner. I've been my own business owner. I've been a prosecutor, but that's not a reason to be your next governor, because I've been the most successful Speaker of the House, which is really the number 2 position behind the governor, because you're controlling a budget, balancing the budget. I'm the only one on the stage that's balanced a budget. Byron Donalds certainly has not. And so you can come in here, but at the end of the day, you know that in 6 months you've not gotten the governor's endorsement. All that you're consigned to right now is being a ribbon cutter, because that's the only constitutional authority you have as lieutenant governor.
All right. So let me get to the next question. This was a good back and forth where you know the audience gets to decide for themselves as you went through this. Thank you for working on this with this one. Let me get to the next topic in regard to hurricane preparedness. Under Governor DeSantis, Florida became a leader in hurricane response. When the Sanibel Causeway was destroyed in October of 2022, a temporary bridge opened in 15 days and full rebuilding took just over 2 years, setting a new benchmark for state emergency response. As governor, what investments or changes will you make to keep Florida the national model for disaster response? Paul, I'll come to you first.
Well, look, in the military, we train over and over again, and the best preparation for a crisis or an emergency is your time in the military. And so I've led that training, and you practice over and over again so that when the crisis comes, you act immediately without another thought. And that's what you have to do during hurricanes as well. I don't think, and you can go back in time, we've had a great series of governors that have done a great job. Ron DeSantis certainly stands at the top of that. And so it's several things. First of all, you have to make sure that you protect the rights and freedoms of every Floridian, so that in a hurricane, you're not being told that you can't transport your weapons, for example, from one place to evacuate. These kinds of things. And Governor DeSantis did that very clearly during COVID, which was one of the worst.
Yeah, how are you going to make sure we're prepared for hurricanes? We're going to make sure you can take your guns from your home. We're going to make sure you can protect the most valuable part of your life, your guns.
First civil liberties infringement as a crisis in American history, and I will never let that happen or anything like that happen on my watch, no matter what the crisis is. But with respect to hurricane response, I would give you 4 things. One is a risk assessment. You need to know the severity of the risk, the locality in the case of a hurricane, and then you need resources. You need resources for first responders, and I would be asking our local emergency operations centers what they need to respond to that crisis. And then secondly, our third is communication. A good leader communicates, and that's both to the people that are on the ground working the problem, but also to the public, to warn them of danger that is real, but also reassure them that things are under control. Again, you want somebody who's had a lifetime of being battle tested that can handle the worst thing that comes our way, and finally express that calm in a storm.
Thank you, Paul. James, 60 seconds.
That was a good point. He didn't give any policy positions at all.
Governor DeSantis said it best when he said that the only time the average Floridian even cares who's the governor is before and after a hurricane. My grandmother, who taught English here at Plantation High School in Broward County for 20 years, she always taught me that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. We need to surge resources into communities before a storm hits. Use both the Florida National Guard, but also the Florida State Guard. I'm going to be campaigning for Amendment 1 that's going to increase the size of our rainy day fund. And I'm going to make sure that FEMA, which was found out in the last 2 years to deny hurricane relief to those who had Trump flags in their lawn, that is illegal discrimination. We will stand up to anyone who gets in the way of keeping our people safe after a storm.
Yeah, Donald Trump just disbanded FEMA, so we'll get less funds from the federal government when a storm hits. Also, I'm sure that was a lie what he said about FEMA not giving people with Trump flags.
Yeah, so Governor Ron DeSantis has clearly been the leader in the clubhouse when it comes to disaster response. We know he's been incredible. You know, we had over 50,000 power trucks lined up after...
Do you think they like DeSantis?
Helene and Milton. It was pretty incredible to see that. You know, that consequential leadership, his ability to say, look, that bridge isn't going to take 4 months. It's going to take 3 days. And to get it done is incredible. But what we have to do, and Paul, I think you hit on something that was interesting, is a comms plan. You have to have a PACE plan, a primary, alternate, contingency, an emergency plan that's in place where people can scaffold that and make sure that in a multi-jurisdictional...
Only now?
No. Well, because hurricane preparedness isn't just your response to the issue, it's also mitigation. Not one of them has mentioned anything about storm resiliency, so solar battery storage, seawalls, ensuring that there's proper, what's it called, development.
Oh, yeah. Whereas, with the water can seep into the ground, it's not just all pavement.
Yes, well,
where it stays above
why
ground.
am I forgetting what the word is?
Green development, green streets.
Yes, green development, green streets, regulations over where we can be putting developing.
How many, retention ponds you can have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then also investing in renewables and clean energy, because right now 77% of our energy still comes from natural gas, which
there's a whole city
is a fossil fuel that's contributing to the climate crisis and the more intense and severe storms, and
is severely disrupted by storms. But there's a whole city just south of here that through Helene, through the past 2 major storms, was completely fine. They had power because they were relying on solar energy and utility grade solar energy. They didn't have to rely on the huge transit lines that oil requires.
Exactly. And addressing the low-income communities who are the most impacted by these storms. We saw after Hurricanes Helene and Milton, there's areas that typically aren't impacted by flooding that were severely impacted, and people lost their homes. And I know there's still to this day, folks are recovering from that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So stupid candidates.
I was just getting annoyed because any governor can respond to a hurricane, send in the National Guard, but what are we doing? Because there's going to be another storm, there's going to be another hurricane. What are we going to do beforehand?
Remember,
starting right
these
now?
are people who are explicitly against progress, who don't want to actually do anything to help, only want to take away services the government's providing.
No.
And again, the question is, how do we change? And they're all just saying, well, we need to make sure we do communications right. Which, honestly, this is one of the few things that the Florida state government does well. They do communicate pretty well.
Multi-county situation, you can actually communicate and work through that. Number 2 is clarity of training. We have to make sure that more training is pushed down. Many of the cities and counties have part-time or short-staffed emergency management. We got to make sure they get more information quicker to help make that work for them. And the last piece is this, guys. We all talk about it. You have to get the supplies
in the first place.
And none of them have talked about using the Air Force drop nuclear bombs in the hurricane. The obvious solution.
Food, the things on the ground quicker. We're going to
have a joke, by the way. I do not endorse that policy position.
Have to continue to build out what Governor Ron DeSantis has started and have an echeloned approach to where our things are around the state. That works. That plan has.
His answer was genuinely, we need to know where things are around the state, and that's how we'll deal with the hurricanes.
And then also when they're trying to cut the funding and ability for local governments to respond to these matters or to hurricane severe storms.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Forward on those things.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Next question was shared with us by Sarah Adams, former CIA targeter. She asked this question on Twitter.
What?
Hostile foreign governments are using universities to gain influence through research, money, and partnerships. What will you do to eliminate foreign influence from Florida's colleges?
He's literally just saying, are you going to ban foreign students? James Fishback wants to ban foreign students. I mean, I'm a master's student at USF right now. You just graduated from USF. We have so many foreign students who are great, who are amazing, and they come to learn in America, and they add their skills to America. I mean, the way America has always grown is through immigrants coming in here and making a better state. And they just want to kick them out. I mean, take away funding from our schools, take away that... ridiculous and racist, and like literally just racist. Like, those scary foreigners are coming over to take over our country and use our human capital growth.
Colleges and universities.
I'll take it, because I've already called for it.
Also, we want like American culture. I mean, we want American culture to be spread out. We want people to learn in America and like go to back to their countries and say, yeah, I love my time there. America's a good country.
No professors, no students from any country, foreign area of concern, such...
No foreign professors? Are they insane? Destroy our university's ability to get internationally renowned talent? What a stupid, incredibly stupid policy. I mean, I don't get this. I guess I don't get this mad often, but like, ban our universities from getting internationally recognized talent. How insane.
Such as China. We let China in several years ago in these Confucius Institutes, and
Donald Trump just asked for 600,000 Chinese students.
And this is just classic academia. They stole our research because our own professors are collaborating with them on things that belong with the Department of War.
Then that's not stolen research if our professors are collaborating with them.
Or that belong to the CIA. And so no Chinese students, no Chinese professors. We need to completely remove...
That's just racist. That's literally just racist. That's crazy. I mean, that's the most racist we've been since the 1950s Exclusion Act of Chinese people.
He's basically implying what every Chinese student is conspiring with.
Yeah. Every Chinese student is a spy for China.
And Jay and I worked together on the bill to stop any purchase from the CCP of land in Florida, whether it's farmland or military.
Yeah, but not Israel, not Scientology, not what's another scary thing? Oh yeah, they try to, at least in Georgia, they stopped Chinese people from buying land near airports, which is crazy.
Land. I think that bill can probably go farther, but that was a good bill that we worked on together. And we need to make sure, because this is a real threat. China's not the only one, but they certainly are the major one. And so shutting them off from the spigot of research that's happening in our public universities is job one.
This shutting our universities off from
Actually,
great research.
James, I'll come to you next.
It's very simple. Florida colleges are paid for by the Florida taxpayers. Why then are there...
And by other people paying tuition.
Thousands of foreign students taking up admission spots, taking up spots in a chemistry, history, or engineering class from one...
And allowing our students to learn from international people and become even better chemists, even better scientists.
One of the kids in our state, a kid from Hernando County, Collier County, Lee County, Osceola, Orange, Broward, Dade, or Palm Beach. Why? We must end foreign students who are practically spies in many of our...
But we couldn't... But foreign students are spies. Ugh. But we can't make college free for those kids in Hernando. No, that'd be going too far. Nope. We can't give them that much opportunity. We just have to deny it from other people.
Universities. I will do that as governor by raising the tuition on any foreign student to $1 million a year.
Yes, we only get rich people. Only... The Chinese government couldn't afford $1 million a year. No, only kids who actually deserve to be here could afford that.
They can't pay, they can't come, and when they can't come, our kids are back in our universities training, being motivated and educated to write the next great chapter of history right here in Florida.
Thank you, James. Jay?
God, all those people are stupid that are clapping with them. I mean, all those people are legitimately stupid who are clapping with them.
When I joined the Army, the most exciting thing that was going on was fusion. Utilization and a better standardization of local, state, and federal assets. It's good government working together. You also have to bring in your university system for that. You have to make sure that operations, training, you have to make sure that communication, cyber, intelligence
17%, I'm not sure.
are all there. We have to have clear communication, better threat understanding, better connectedness within all of those assets. So our people at the
Look at what percent of foreign students are spies.
leadership level understand that. And then you have to do exactly what Governor Ron DeSantis has done and hold those people accountable. But look, where do we go from there? The simple truth is this. We
6%.
all see the risk of foreign influence. We all know what that looks like and what it means. Yes, Paul, you and I did that was a great bill, and we had to stand strong on banning China, but it was also the countries of concern. It wasn't just the CCP, it was other countries that couldn't buy real property. We have to call it what it is, and we have to protect our people, and we have to arm them with the facts. One of the things I would love to do as governor is sit down and have a conversation with the people of Florida. You know, in a world where Twitter is always moving, Facebook, Instagram, all of that, it's just spinning like your power meter, right? What can we do? You remember when the president would sit there and have a conversation with America? We have to address these things as governor.
God, he says
we have to
nothing.
sit down and
He
have
uses
that
so many
conversation with
words
the people of
to say
Florida.
absolutely
Share
nothing.
the facts.
Like, I wasn't listening the past 15, 20, 30 seconds of what he was saying just because I couldn't even comprehend how nothing it was.
Share the details and share that vision of where this is going to go. And then we have to hold them accountable when they don't follow the laws. That is the DeSantis way. Communication is the critical conduit of all of that.
Thank you. Well, you know, on the topic of education, you know, there's a lot of things that Florida gets right. One of the areas that we have to improve as a state is education. Federal data shows Florida public schools rank second in the nation.
Campus international students, at UF and USF alone, campus international students contributed to $189.2 million to the state economy.
Yeah, we can't have that anymore. Can't have that investment in our communities. Yeah, apparently they're about international students are about 6% of the universities.
For fourth grade math, but by 8th grade, we dropped to 41st. And when it comes down to SAT scores in America, we're at 48th place out of 50 states.
Because our kids can't read.
The average SAT score in Florida is 948. What specific changes will you make to address education shortfalls in Florida? Paul, I'll come to you first again.
Well, I'll start by resetting the standards of what constitutes an A. Right now, it's far too low. It needs to be at 90%. I think it's at 60% or something. So we need to raise the bar. And with a new
What did he just say? What constitutes an A? 60%.
That's what? Huh?
Governor, I think it's the right time to do that, to continue to challenge our kids to greater excellence. And we need to make sure, as I did when I was speaker, to get the indoctrination out of our schools, teach reading, math, science, civics, make a high school diploma matter again by the time you walk across the stage. And the fact that we're seeing at least the positive signs, but seeing that drop off means to me that we're cluttering the educational experience with too many things that don't go to teaching the core basics of education. That's what a high school diploma ought to deliver so that you can...
He's stupid. I mean, we don't have enough teachers. We don't have enough qualified teachers. That's the main problem. We're spending so much of our money on like iReady, a private program that we're just sitting our kids in front of laptops instead of actually being taught. That's the problem. Not that we're doing social emotional learning, which actually helps kids learn way better. I mean,
walk off the stage and get a meaningful job. I will be committed to that, again, running a Florida First agenda to make sure that we have vocational and technical training along with that math. And so we have to do all of those things. Another thing I would point to, Patrick, is the schools of education must be reformed. And by reformed, I mean, frankly, brought down, demolished basically, and rebuilt from the ground up, because we see very weak academics in the schools of education. We see a ton of...
Why are you saying the schools of education like that? What does that mean?
Indoctrination. So a teacher walks in really excited. She loves math. She wants to teach
10 more
math.
seconds, Paul.
And they become basically weaponized for the left. We see this over and over again. So we have to have significant...
all their woke math, all the LGBTQ math. Like, what?
Significant reform of the schools of education and focus...
Okay, I'm a teacher, or I was a teacher. I'm going to go back into it, blah, blah, blah. But if I had the time to teach my students about, gay rights or whatever, or about being gay, do you have I mean, I would spend that time grading papers. I mean, teachers do not have time to do the gay agenda while doing every other thing the school puts on our shoulders.
More in the subject area, not spending 4 years how to teach, but 4 years about how to be a great math teacher.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you.
Huh?
James.
Don't spend 4 years learning how to teach. Spend it learning how to be a good math teacher.
Take your average high school student here in Florida and ask them 3 questions. Pull them out of class and ask them to point which way the Pacific Ocean is. Number 2, ask them to recite the First and Second Amendments of the U.S. Constitution. And number 3, have them walk into a Starbucks, get behind the counter, someone pays $50, have them make change. Genuinely, honestly, how many kids, even at the top high schools in our state, could answer all 3 of those questions? Maybe, Patrick, it has something to do with the fact that if Elon Musk came down and wanted to teach a high school physics course, he would be barred from doing so because the radical teachers unions will not let people from other fields come to teach. There is
What?
I don't understand.
What? If you literally have a college degree, which I don't think Elon Musk does, so technically he would be barred. If you literally just have, or if you're the spouse of a veteran, you have the ability to teach in Florida. I mean, what he just said makes absolutely no sense. We have incredibly low standards to be a teacher. Like, that's stupid. Also, Elon Musk probably wouldn't be a great physics teacher.
an entire group
Given that he made Grok, the AI that creates child pornography.
of Elon
Or
Musk's
child sexual assault material, sorry.
engineers, mathematicians, scientists, history buffs who want to come into our public schools and educate and motivate our kids, and they can. But the other fact is that we've got to pay the best teachers more. Now, most teachers I know, they wake up early, they stay late, they dig into their own pockets for school supplies and lunch money. The teachers need a raise if they're doing what is expected of them. And you do that, Patrick, for the very simple reason that a business is nothing without its employees. I'm the only business owner on the stage, and I can tell you this. When you want to retain and recruit the best employees at an investment firm, at a restaurant, or even at a school, you've got to pay them more. But to the parents out there who want not to go to the public school route, I will always defend your right that Governor DeSantis and the First Lady fought for. The Step Up program is going to the next level. I call it Step Up Squared. Here's how it works. Number 1, if you have a kid here in Broward or Dade County and they're spending $15,000 a year, the school district on your kid, and you pull them out, you're gonna get the full $15,000. Number 2.
So the state's gonna spend so much more money on the kids, and when you take a kid to a private school, that private school accepts that money, like $50,000 you're talking about, and then if they kick that kid out, which they just can do, they keep that money. The public school has to retake that kid in, and they don't get any more money to actually educate them. It's just private schools stealing all that $15K which he wants to give them now, and it means the public schools have so much less money to be able to serve their kids with.
Number 2, we are going to empower our homeschool families and allow them to access the same exact extracurriculars, debate team, the rest of it, so they can participate in the same way. Let's not forget, Tim Tebow was a homeschool kid who competed on a public high school team, and I'm going to defend the next generation of homeschoolers to do the same.
Jay, please.
Yeah, so let's look at what we have here. Number 1, we have to be aware of the cyber footprint of our kids. Have you ever sat back and looked at K through 12 and the cyber footprint we find our kids in? Guys, it's scary. I have an 11 and 14-year-old in the house.
Okay, but is he going to sue the corporations that are, making profit off our kids? Is it making social media platforms specifically designed to get them addicted? Or is he going to go after the parents and the kids themselves and punish them?
Everything they do is through a third-party app. Everything in their life is tracked online. Everything is there, and their frontal lobes aren't fully developed. Guys, they're at risk everywhere they go, and we have to make sure that we start decoupling from some of those apps and some of those processes. We got to protect their safety, protect their lives and their ID. Number 2, I think it's time to move towards classical education. I do. We have been slowly moving that direction under Governor Ron DeSantis. We know that classical education builds strong citizens. It gives strong fundamentals. We know that it provides them with functionality, But let's be clear. We don't just want kids to be competitive. We want Florida's kids to win. Winning matters, losing sucks. I think we all agree with that, right? We want the best for our kids, and I don't want them to just be okay. I want them to be thought leaders, industry leaders. But there's also been an inherent bias through
And that's what
time
we're going to divest from our education system.
that you had to have a bachelor's, a master's, or a PhD to be successful in life. Guys, that's just simply not true. Whether you want to get a job, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, whether you want to go to the trades or get a bachelor's degree, it doesn't matter. We have to demand excellence in all things. And that's why I think it's time to bring the trades and apprenticeship back to every single high school across the state of Florida. The simple fact
10 seconds.
is that, look, you can't tell me a 20-year welder can't be given an instructor certification to go ahead and teach people how to do that. It's a self-licking ice cream cone of success, and it's the right thing to do for the future of Florida.
What kind of analogy
Jay,
is that? He loved that.
Jay, I think you're absolutely right. It's the kind of regulation that conservatives need to pull back on. President Reagan said it best, that the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. And Jay, you know this. Paul, you know this. There is too much government regulation that prevents the kind of workers coming in to train with occupational licenses that locks out an entire generation of
make
workers.
vocational school free.
If you are qualified, you should be able to do the job. I'll give you one example. Governor DeSantis this week said,
But
you
he's not
should be
actually
able to
saying-
sit for the bar.
He's not actually saying what the qualification should be. He's just saying if your qualification, you get it, and our qualifications are way too strict. The qualifications are literally: do you have a college degree, or are you married to or have you been married to a veteran? Like there are no qualifications basically.
Bar exam, read the bar exam without having to go to law school. And I agree, there are dozens of occupations in our state where you shouldn't have to jump through all of these bureaucratic hoops, have to prove yourself.
You shouldn't have to go to law school to become a lawyer.
Prove yourself in the open market. That's what radical capitalists do, and I'm proud to be one.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's play this game. If we want to bring those paddles up to everybody,
game.
thumbs up, thumbs down.
Excited?
We'll go through 20 different issues, and on some of them, if there's you guys defer, we may go a little bit deeper. So
Yeah.
Got it. So we each get one.
you got them? Everybody has one. So green, thumbs up. Red, thumbs down. Can you show it to the audience so they can see? So thumbs up, thumbs down. Okay. So I'll state an issue, and you tell me if it's thumbs up.
That's why
or
he
thumbs
held
down.
up the wrong.
Eliminate
panel
property
earlier.
tax.
He saw green on his side.
Easy. Require E-Verify for every employer. Legalize recreational marijuana.
I was surprised they're all three against that.
Expand school choice and vouchers. Raise public schools teachers' pay, which could lead to additional state spending. Okay, you were a little bit hesitant there, Jay. Are you still
like how
sticking
he's-
to thumbs up?
I was
He explicitly said which would lead to additional state spending, only for teacher pay.
listening to the whole question and making
Okay,
sure
all
I'm
right,
good
that's,
on
my,
thumbs up.
that's my English. Forgive my English. Ban cell phones during school day in K through 12.
It's already the case.
All right. Expand nuclear energy. Build more toll roads to reduce.
What do you mean no? It's a safe. It's an incredibly safe form of energy. It's cheap. It's
It's
better
not
for environment.
incredibly safe. The U.S. still doesn't have
Yeah,
a
'cause-
fully supportive system to store the radioactive waste generated from nuclear, and the uranium that's used to mine to power it is still has severe environmental consequences and the human rights concerns associated with it.
Okay, sure, but much less environmental concerns than the amount of
Yes.
coal and oil they were burning. And the U.S. is way behind on our systems. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't start improving them.
Yeah, but that's the conversation on nuclear though is taking away from the conversation around more investments in solar and wind. Like that's where we should be putting our
We can do
priorities,
all of
if
that.
not nuclear.
We can do all of it. You're right. It shouldn't take away from that, and that's what we just say. We can do all of it.
But we should be putting more, but we shouldn't even.
I
Yeah, but
completely
the
agree.
nuclear is
Invest in
taking the
solar
conversation away.
and create a good nuclear infrastructure in the state of in Florida and throughout the country.
But it's not a perfect. But nuclear.
Sure,
is
it's
not a
not perfect. Solar
solution.
isn't perfect either. Neither wind isn't perfect. None of them are perfect. And
Mm-hmm.
your solar has some downsides, of course. And yes, we do need to create a very a strong system to
But
take
there
care of the
still
waste.
is leaks from radioactive storage sites. I
The-
believe
so-
it's about. I can't recall the exact number. There's around 70 something radioactive storage sites in the U.S. and about 60 of them have had some sort of leak.
Okay, so we need to do better on that.
Yes.
You're right. But
But
nuclear
that's-
energy still is a good thing on the whole. But yes, we need to make sure we have better safety standards for the storage of them.
Yeah, but first priority should be wind and solar.
Yes.
So traffic congestion.
Okay, wait, they're conflicted here. What was the question?
Expand nuclear energy. Build more toll roads to reduce traffic congestion.
Make people pay to drive so they have to drive less, but don't invest in mass transit. No, couldn't do that.
No high-speed rails here.
Okay, let's stay on that. Jay, you put thumbs up, you guys put thumbs down. James, why don't you go first? Why are you thumbs down?
I don't think we need to turn Florida into a concrete jungle. I don't think we need to keep building. I grew up going to the Everglades fishing with my dad and uncle, and I can tell you this state is perfect just the way that she is. What I want to do for Florida conservation is I want to tackle the FWC head on. You got corrupt commissioners there who are not fighting for conservation. I'll remove them using my Article 4, Section 7 powers. But on toll roads,
As long as he actually fights for conservation, okay?
why is it that the Turnpike was built 50 years ago and we're still paying for a road that we were told we were only going to pay for it to be built? And here's the fact. If you're a Florida resident, you should not have to pay to drive on our roads. Patrick, here's my commitment to the voters of Florida. As governor, I will eliminate all tolls for Florida residents.
You should eliminate all taxes.
Paul, you also had thumbs down.
And I just want to tell you how we're going to pay for it. Because at a
Also-
that was mentioned in the question.
Huh?
He's not addressing the traffic concern that was mentioned in the question.
Exactly. And if you're eliminating all Florida resident tolls, I mean, then you're going to be operating the toll system at a loss. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, then where's he getting
Time when
funding from for?
Every year
Like,
for the roads, yeah.
Just like Zoran Mamdani are trying to steal money. Here's how you're going to pay for it.
Paul, you also had thumbs down.
And I just want to tell you how we're going to pay for it.
5
Because at a
seconds.
time when communists like Zoran Mamdani are trying to steal money, here's how you're going to pay for it.
He balanced the budget.
Make the purist
Ma'am, respectfully, this is my show. You're interrupting. Next time I will ask you to leave. You've done this since entire time. One more time I will ask him to leave. Please respect the audience here. You're the only one that's doing it, and I'm being respectful to you. I'm very tolerant, but you've crossed the line.
Yes.
For the
Go
people
for it.
watching at home, that's Jay Collins' wife. The other two wives are well behaved.
No, it's not Jay
actually
Collins.
not. Jason, don't talk about it.
Bro, in the shade.
Crazy. That's a great for audience.
No, it's not Jay Collins' wife,
Lord,
but
man.
please
So
continue.
how do we pay for it? We pay
it's not even
for
his
it by
wife. I wish
charging
that
the
was.
tourists more. 140 million tourists drive on our roads every single
saying
year.
tourists like
Charge
that?
them $1 or $2 more so we don't have to pay to drive on our roads anymore.
How
Okay,
is he-
thank you,
how is he
Paul.
charging?
Well, this is very similar to what we
Well, you can see by the license plate,
Oh, so there'd still be tolls
just for tourists. But I
but
mean,
most tourists though are coming here by flight and then have a rental car.
a good number. Well, that's true. Well, maybe we can charge the rental cars, but no. I mean, Florida residents must make up so much. Let's see if there is data on that. How much of toll payments do Florida residents pay? Well, yeah, I know they pay the same rate.
Are you looking for like the percent, like in terms of percentage of toll payments?
What percent of toll payments do Florida residents pay compared to visitors? Oh, residents contribute sales tax. All right, yeah, it doesn't show us. Wait, maybe this? By discounting costs by 50%, will drivers hit 35 or more tolls the same month? Current judgment 100% discount for Floridians. All right, but it doesn't give us any. It would cost about $400 to $500 million, but didn't tell us any percentages.
we did when I was speaker with Governor DeSantis, which is to give discounts to Florida residents. And to James's point, that is a way, much like my property tax proposal, I am shifting the burden of taxation away from those who make Florida home to those who vacation here and speculate here. And I think that is a good direction to go. The reason I got the red
Discounting tolls further, I'm not so against, but just create mass transit. I mean, that's the obvious solution.
is like, I can't tell you we're never going to have a toll road, but that's not the first place I would go. And so I think it makes sense to give relief to our residents who, especially frequent commuters, who are spending hundreds of dollars a month to get to their job, and again, dealing with costs that are out of the world right now. So give them a little bit of a break. We did that for a period of time to try to bring those costs down, and we can look at doing that again.
Okay, thank you, Paul. And Jay, you put thumbs up. Why'd you put thumbs up?
Yeah, so if you listen to what Paul said, he said that wouldn't be his go-to. You need to have a medium here, because the fact is this: we have 23.5 million people. We have 800 to 1,200 people a day that have been moving here for ages. We've got to have a multifaceted approach that's realistic and moves people
But no
where
mass
they need
transit.
to go.
Absolutely
That's investing
not.
in things like AAM or eVTOL aircraft, which we as a state have done. We're going to be an industry leader in that. That's paving more roads,
EVs,
making sure that people get where they want to. But if you want
I'm not entirely sure what you just said there.
investing in things like AAM or eVTOL aircraft, which we as a state have done. We're going to be an industry leader in that. That's paving more roads, which ages. We've got to have a multifaceted approach that's realistic and moves people where they need to go. That's investing in things like AAM or eVTOL aircraft, which we as a state have done. We're going to be an industry leader in that. That's paving more roads, making sure that people get where they want to. But if you want to pay for a toll, you want to pay a toll to move a little bit quicker, I think you have to give that option. But the fact is this, and I think we all three agree on this:
USF is doing
the way
research
the
on that.
tolls work, the way the debt is
So just
managed,
like
that's a
helicopters
problem. But it's
and
not just turning it
drones for
off. You can't
packages?
just turn that
That's
thing
not
off.
like
It's
a way
going
to
take
solve
time
transit
to eliminate the bomb.
This isn't a way to solve the transit problem in Florida. I mean, for very specific use
They're
cases,
coming
sure.
up with like taxis that are like that would be flying.
Yeah, a bus system and light rail is so much better than what the craziness.
Bonds. That is something we should all be united on to solve that problem and eventually end that. But right now with our system,
He'll invest in this stuff, but not light rail.
I think you got to get people off the roads and get people moving faster. Have you been around Miami?
Well,
It's
walkable cities.
we got stuck there for a while.
How about
that too.
we-
And you know what we did when I was
install more
speaker with the
pedestrian
governor? We paid down
protections.
some of our state
I
debt that
think
Jay's alluding.
Florida has one of the highest like bicycle. I don't know if it's considered a hit and run, but right, like
Just hits.
what's-
Yeah, accident rates.
bicycle hit accident rates in the country.
Yeah.
Like it's so dangerous here.
To ahead of schedule. And so Byron Donalds, if you're watching, you never did that in the federal government. I can promise you that.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one. All right. So we have 12 more to go through. Again, if you want to grab your paddles, because we're going back to the game with the paddles. Here we go. Require high schoolers to take a financial literacy course
They already
before
do.
graduation.
We already do.
Okay, that's easy.
Home Ec saves lives.
Tax incentive for young families.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, James Fishback. That's a little bit your policy.
So your thumbs down, your thumbs
What
up.
kind of, here's
Yeah.
my problem with green and red is, what do you mean by tax incentives? You mean subsidies?
So let's just say he's about to make the announcement that he's having a kid, right? Let's just say that announcement's being made. Making an incentive for folks
wife's like,
that are
"What?"
just starting out their families, because right now the birth rate is 1.58. So people are worried about having kids because it's expensive.
Okay, I've already done tax incentives in that respect.
So
okay?
you are, so your thumbs up.
I'm a green now.
So
Yep.
your thumbs up
I am.
and your
Yeah.
thumbs down.
No, actually, that's the same question.
Okay, beautiful. Okay,
so
sounds good.
subsidies are frightening. Once you start subsidies long term, we have a problem we're chasing.
So your
But
thumbs
we're-
up, don't do it, or
No,
thumbs
no,
up, do it?
I'm actually green on this. You
Okay.
have to incentivize
Got
young
it.
families.
All right.
So that's good.
Fantastic.
Just a quick question. Can we just do a quick thumbs up, thumbs down? Who would do paid maternity leave for working moms in Florida?
Go for it.
I didn't hear that.
Paid maternity
Paid
leave for-
maternity leave
Paid
for working
maternity
moms in
leave
Florida.
from the
What
state
about
government, from the
veterinary
taxpayers? Yeah,
I'm just curious. That's a fair question. Would you be thumbs up or thumbs down?
Look, here's what I'll say, because the problem with this is that not everything's a thumbs up or
Sure.
thumbs down
Yes,
as
I agree.
governor. What I will say, and where I agree with James on this, is we have to make sure that our population is not continuing to decline. This is happening worldwide.
but no paid
so we
maternity
do have
leave.
to look for ways. And what I was referring to
Or
earlier is
paternity
we eliminated the sales tax on baby diapers, baby wipes, baby strollers, to make sure that as
Yeah,
a
you know who did that? Ana Escamani, who he put in the bottom of the state house, who he gave the worst office to, who spent his entire time attacking. Ana Escamani sponsored that.
Life Party, we're pro-life after the child is born as well. That's important, and so we do want to do things to help family formation, because the family is the original source of government, of self-government.
But we can't make sure the mom actually gets to spend time with the baby after it's born.
And it is critically important because if we don't have strong families, you can't build enough strong government to manage the resulting
Paul, does
chaos.
that mean if the idea makes sense, you would be open to it?
The concept broadly about incentivizing family formation,
No,
absolutely.
I'm only open to ideas that don't make sense.
I would be in favor of pursuing multiple different ways of looking at that.
Got it.
To
Okay.
make sure that,
All right.
that
Did you have a
economics
rebuttal
is
to
not
that?
a
Did you have
reason
anything
not
you
to have a
wanted to say?
kid.
Thank you, Paul.
Make sure
Go for it.
economics is not a reason.
Go ahead.
What I would say is, as a Christian, I believe that life begins at conception. I believe that to be pro-life, we have to totally end abortion in the state.
That wasn't the question.
And that's what I would run to do as governor.
He made the question. He introduced it, and then is answering a totally different question.
But I also believe that it is really messed up to tell a mom who gives birth on Friday morning that she has to be at work Monday bright and early. As governor, I will institute paid maternity leave for every working mom in our state.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Next one is increase funding for Everglades restoration.
There's other policies now.
Okay. Cap annual homeowner insurance rate increases.
Cap?
Cap.
Like government caps?
Yes.
Nah.
Don't actually
Okay,
stand
so
up to the
capitalism,
insurance companies.
that's what that means. Require AI-generated ads to include a disclosure label.
Oh.
Okay. Expand birth
I mean, that'd be hard to do within the state of Florida. That'd be more of a national thing, but
futures program.
The what?
Expand.
The what? The what program? Bright Futures?
Bright Futures programs that we have.
It's pretty expanded right now.
no, it's not. They just contracted it. It doesn't even pay for entire tuition anymore. Bright Futures is the like tuition grants that the state of Florida gives people who do exceptionally well in school. They do several different tiers. One used to be fully pay for their tuition, but they took that away.
What is it right now? Is it 3.5
Well, there's
GPA
100%,
with
there's 75%.
SAT?
Depends on what your scores
Right.
are, but we have a pretty robust Bright Futures.
So you would keep it the way it is?
I would
You
keep it
wouldn't
the way it
adjust
is.
Are you thumbs up, or would you
Keep it the way it is.
keep it the way it is?
I think
Okay.
yeah, I'm a thumbs up on this. I think you have to keep it the way it is, but you have to expand this out to a couple of
How
other
would you
areas.
expand it?
Look, I want to see more movement in trades. I want to say that we have to put our money where our mouth is and
sure.
stop making
Whatever.
people feel like those in the trades are a second-class citizen. Guys, the average tradesman's 58 years old. The average farmer's 58.9. We got to fill those things. If you eat food or you go to the bathroom, guys, you should be very worried about how that works. I want to make sure there's more opportunity, more scholarships available for those kids. Excellence has to be what we aim for in all things, to include the trades, entrepreneurship, and yes, regular
free
academic
college.
success.
Cool.
We need to do more.
James.
I agree. We need to expand the Bright Futures program, but we have to take a bigger look at our colleges here in Florida. I want Florida colleges to look more like Hillsdale and less like Berkeley. We need kids studying.
Okay, more like just a complete conservative indoctrination camp, and less like one of the best colleges in the entire world.
Science, technology, engineering, math, American history. We don't want kids to be trained to be
Only
active.
American history. We shouldn't learn about any other history outside of America, and only his American history.
On either side. We don't want CRT or DEI in our universities. And so I would want to expand the program.
We can't have diversity. You should only be talking to people who think the exact same way you do. How could you possibly learn if you don't just get told the same things your entire life?
I would be open to also reducing and eliminating certain majors so that taxpayer money isn't used for kids to learn about.
Let's go to the next one.
Patrick, do you mind?
Sure.
I'm actually, this isn't something we're going to say very often. I agree with him on part of this. Look, here's the thing.
This is a miracle,
You got
folks.
to
This
you
is
got to
great.
take your economy.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Look, here's the thing.
This is a miracle,
You got
folks.
to
This is great.
take your economy and align it with your.
Wait. Oh, James Fishback took the top position. That's so you know he's the alpha. Jay Collins is still the beta here.
Look, here's the thing.
This is a miracle,
You gotta-
folks. This
you
is
gotta
great.
take your-
He's standing straight. Jay Collins is leaning over to him, so you know he's the alpha. He's a sigma. You know he's standing in his own thing.
Economy and align it with your education system, with the university, the state schools, and your high schools. You got to create tunnels of excellence where they're interconnected, where you make sure that you're projecting out on a 1, 3, 5, and 10-year basis real jobs, real opportunities.
He's literally saying we need to build our education system so it funnels kids specifically into these vocations that I care about. And he's saying communism is bad, but no, capitalism is great because we can make sure that these kids only learn this specific thing and go into these specific jobs.
That make a difference in their lives. People want to live the American dream, and that means letting them know with transparency what those opportunities look like as they move forward. That's what we should be doing, and I think that's exactly what all this is talking
And
about.
Patrick, just for equal time, on vocational training,
Paul, I've given you a lot of time.
I agree with
Paul, I'm going
Jay.
to move forward because I need to go to the guest 3 questions,
Okay.
please. I've given you plenty of time.
Sure.
Some would even say I've given you more time than the other 2. Let me continue. Require government spending to be searchable online.
Absolutely.
And I would do it via the
Radical
blockchain.
transparency.
Everybody agreed.
100%.
Expand vocational training at public schools.
100%.
Okay, easy. Offer tax credits to businesses that hire veterans. You're thinking.
I thought it froze.
This is one
What
of
are
those.
you thinking? Do you want to take
What
a
tax
second?
credit would be
I mean, you're in
corporate
this
income tax
business.
credit?
This is what you do. Would you create an incentive?
You're
for
asking to expand what we already have?
whatever
We
you
have
have
a
right
ton
now.
of, we have a ton of benefits for veterans. They're well deserved. So I
So
think
your
we I
thumbs
think we
down.
have
You're
some
happy
measures.
with what's out there right
I'm happy
now.
with what we're doing. I think we have the most veteran-friendly state in America. We're going to keep it that way.
So you would say to change and upgrade what we have will be a thumbs down to you.
I don't know that there's a place for an upgrade. I mean,
Yeah, this is what it's like a bad. This is why he shouldn't really be the moderator. He doesn't know anything specific to Florida, really. He's just like throwing out random questions here.
I think we need to encourage our veterans and work, but I don't know that we need an upgrade.
All right. So
Let me
let's
just say this, Patrick. The idle mind is the devil's playground. And what I fear is that so many of our brave veterans who come back from war, that they are reliving that PTSD by staring at the ceiling. They don't have an access to a job or an opportunity. And so what I would fight for is for every single vet to not just have a job in the private sector, but if you can't get a job there, let's open up internships.
This is a very strange thing. 2 vets said no, 1 non-vet said yes. So let me ask Jay Collins. Jay,
Yeah.
what would you say?
So look, I don't think that's the approach, but what I do think is we have to step up and do more. Look, the VA simply is too bloated, too bureaucratic, and there's too many problems. We have to make sure that we hold them accountable.
Defund
I would
the
love
VA,
to
is
press
that what
the
he's
federal
saying?
government
Can't
to
even do that from
shift
the
how the
state level.
VA works, number one.
Thing.
Number two, we have to go find, there are 700,000 veterans who have no connection to the VA in the state of Florida. We're going to have to do what I call Operation Reveille. We're going to work with nonprofits, churches, local organizations, and leaders to bring them in and make sure they get
That's
the
actually a good point.
benefits.
It's
But the
not enough to
third
take
thing
out
here
services.
is very simple. We've got to make sure that when they transition, we as a state don't leave them behind. We have to work with nonprofits,
Thank you, Jay.
public-private partnerships to make that work and make sure they have that
Thank you.
transition into a real life.
Can I comment on where I would spend money?
Yeah.
So when I did spend money, so at University of South Florida, we're spending right now $28 million for a study into hyperbaric oxygen treatment to cure traumatic brain injury. Because we know, and Jay knows very well, we have a lot of veterans that have traumatic brain injury. It's difficult for them to get out and take a job. And so getting them right-sized is very, very important. This idea that we're going to let the VA give drugs to our veterans for the rest of their life is reprehensible. We need to look for alternative treatments that actually cure the brain. I believe this hyperbaric oxygen treatment study will bear fruit. It will be very exciting
Paul.
for all of our veterans as well as anybody else
Beautiful.
that has
Thank
a
you. Let me
TBI.
get to the next one. So require able-bodied adults receiving public benefits to meet work or training requirements.
Oh my God.
Fantastic. Fully ban Chinese nationals from buying land in Florida.
It's insane.
Okay? And last but not least, your prioritize
literally just racist policy. I mean,
farmland over residential development. Okay, thank you for that. Paul, I'm going to come to you for this next question, and we're going to go to the audience for 2 questions, and then we'll wrap it up. We are almost at the end. So one of the topics that a lot of people in the comment section are asking about is flock
debates are a lot less fun when Donald Trump isn't there, or Curtis Lewa.
cameras. I don't know if you're familiar with the flock cameras, so we'll talk about that. Florida
wow, flock
police now
cameras,
uses thousands of flock safety cameras. By the way, one of them is literally 100 yards away from this building, which are part of a 100,000 camera national network. Originally used to read license plates, the system now uses AI hardware that prepares for facial recognition. Police say it solves violent crimes, finds missing children, and tracks stolen cars instantly. However,
It actually shown not to be more effective, or at least the cities with flock don't have higher rates of
civil liberties
crimes.
groups and residents worry about privacy. What is your stance on expanding AI surveillance networks in Florida, Paul?
Well, I will stand in front of a moving train to stop the surveillance state from developing here in the state of Florida and protect civil liberties. And here's what I'll tell you. As an intelligence officer in Afghanistan, you see things that we can't talk about, but you see our capacity to go after bad guys. and you think that's great that we can take care of the bad guys. But the problem is, what happens if that same technology is turned against us? And so we always have to be vigilant. You know, we fought a revolution for a reason.
So would he ban Palantir from the state?
And to not have an overarching surveilling government over our backs and in our homes and on the streets. And so it's one thing if you have a camera that can be deployed to capture a missing child that has been kidnapped in the moment, in the hours, in the minutes right after it's happened to stop a death, right? It's quite another thing to let that data go and be held for a week, a month, a year, be taken into AI and crunched. And so truly you have a...
But it's not just that. The information is accessible to almost anybody. They have like no security. You can literally just hack into a flock camera incredibly easily and like find all the data they have. It's not just about it being stored somewhere else.
Surveillance state akin to the Chinese government that is possible. I'm not saying it's happening today or that our police officers aren't doing the right thing today, but the point is, how far do we want to go in the name of security before we lose our freedom? And as once a person, I think Benjamin Franklin famously said, if we give up our security or give up our freedom for security, we will get neither and deserve neither.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Okay, 60 seconds, Jake.
All right, look, number one, this whole discussion is why AI has to be a state-level issue. It shouldn't be in control of the federal government. We have to empower our governors and our...
Wait, he just spent the entire first part talking about AI, about it needs to be a municipal issue, but now he says it needs to be a state issue.
Local states to do that. Number two, look, the reality of flock cameras is we do pull criminals, we do pull murderers off that, but Paul, what you're talking about is those third-party. You cannot afford to have the third-party information, the third-party organizations grab that information and hold that there. We have to secure that in-house. We have to make sure that's locked inside our organizations and controlled. But Paul, what you said in the final line on this is that an AI surveillance state is a horrifying, frightening thing. I believe in our men and women of law enforcement. I have talked to all of our sheriffs, our local police, and I will tell you they are unified that flock does make a difference. It does save lives, and it keeps our people safe. And they are owed the time, tools, and training necessary to complete their mission and get back to their families. But they're also held accountable if that thing goes wrong or if it's misused. But we have to make sure we keep that data here in our state.
Thank you, Jay. James?
As governor, you will always get a yes or no answer out of me. If elected the 47th governor, I would ban all flock and Palantir systems in Florida.
And Palantir, okay. That's going against Donald Trump, who is like best friends with Peter Thiel and Palantir. Like,
there are thousands of cameras pointed at schoolyards outside of churches. Can you imagine what the Democrats would have done with the flock security footage during COVID? They would have known exactly where you were. They would have tracked you day by day, and Anthony Fauci and Joe Biden would have been banging on your door with a search warrant because you took your kids to the park when they said it wasn't okay.
COVID.
I'm the only candidate on the stage who can say that I've never taken money from Palantir, never taken money from the large AI companies. And what I'll tell you is I signed that pledge because Palantir may do good work in the Middle East, may do good work in Afghanistan or Iraq. But the same weapons of war that are deployed on foreign battlefields should never, ever be aimed at American citizens on U.S. soil. We will block flock and ban Palantir and revive our civil liberties like our founding fathers would have wanted.
Thank you.
But Patrick, I do just want to touch up on something that Mr. Collins said.
Why is Patrick
Jay, you started your answer with, quote, "This is why AI should be a state-level issue." 30 minutes ago, you said that AI data centers should not be banned from the state. So can we get a yes or no as governor? Would you sign into law a full ban of experimental data centers?
James, again, you're playing games. Listen, now let me finish. Look, man, it is very clear what the problem is here. You want to have a perfect world that operates how it is, and if all men were aimed
a perfect world where legislators do what the constituents want, but that can't be how it
we
works.
wouldn't need government. The simple fact is this: it doesn't operate that way. Not all AI is bad. You use it, everyone uses it. It's the reality. Our kids use it. Data centers are also something that's been around. Do you like communicating with people?
You should have went straight to the microphone. Wrong. I don't use it.
Hyperscalers are the issue. And what I'm talking about is federal control over something that's very complex. That should not be the case. It should be managed at the state level. But what I'm telling you is the local governments have to be empowered to make decisions. They don't want the state ruling that. Just like we're saying the
But for
Fed
flock
shouldn't step
cameras,
in,
they
the
should, but
state
not for data
shouldn't
centers.
ban those outright. That's not what Governor DeSantis has done.
But why? Okay, why not just say I'll ban hyperscale data centers? Why not just say that? Because he's saying I don't like hyperscale data centers. Just say I'll ban hyperscale data centers. I mean, that's vague enough that he really doesn't have to stand by anything there. He's just stupid. He's just a stupid, small, weird man.
What he said is put guardrails in place. That is his model. That is successful right now because it continues to grow with the footprint
Paul, I'll
as
give you
AI
30
develops.
seconds, then I'm going to go to
I gotta
questions and
jump in
final
for
thoughts from
20,
you guys.
20
Go
seconds,
for it.
okay?
Go for it.
Here's the problem with what was just said, is that at the local level, the whole community in Fort Meade comes out and says, please don't do this to us. And the
right.
county commission unanimously votes for it. Because all they can see is the same dollar signs, the same special interests that are funding Byron Donald's campaign. We need leaders who will put the citizens of Florida first and not big tech.
Thank you,
This
Paul.
is a state level
All right.
issue.
He kind of sounds like RFK.
Let's go to
Not
the
RFK,
audience. We have
JFK.
2 questions. Do we have in front of Mike? Because I can't see it. Oh, we do. Please state your name and your question. Remove restrictions for young entrepreneurs in the state of Florida. 30 seconds each.
Yep.
Go for
How
it.
Sure, I'll
question
go
is
first.
that?
We have regulations. Look, regulators, what do? They regulate. And so if you leave them to their own devices, they will continue to regulate and regulate. We have regulations that are on the books probably from the 60s and 70s, so we need to do a better job. You hear about zero-based budgeting. I'd like to see zero-based regulation and tear it down to its bare minimum and only have regulations that go to health and safety. Businesses need reliable rules. They need to just know what the rules are. And as long as they know that, and as long as they're
Only have regulations on health and safety, not on minimum wage, not on wage theft, not on working hours.
are low,
Stupid.
which they typically are in Florida, but not always, then you can prosper. But I hear all the time when it comes to other states that they do it better in other states where there's not the kind of simplicity that we need to give to businesses because all of that effort, all of that time.
So honestly, the biggest thing that we need, and I talked to a lot of small business owners throughout Tampa about this, and the biggest thing that we need is what's called an ombudsman, which is somebody who helps you work through the process. On state level, I mean, it's confusing to start a business and to apply for small business loans. And so if you have somebody out there helping them, reaching out to small businesses and working with them through the process, that's a lot. That's genuinely a huge help that a lot of people talk about.
All the bodies you have to put on that
10
regulation
minutes
cost money. That money then gets passed along to your consumers or reduces your profits. And for all those reasons, we have to have, whether it's a 1 in, 2 out, or how about a 0 in, 3 out of regulatory effort. When we look at the Tax and Budget Commission, Byron has kind of sloughed off the whole property tax debate and said, I'll send it to the commission. This would be something for them to talk about, but quite frankly, we know where we need to go, and we can look at this in partnership with the
5 more seconds,
NFIB
Paul.
to make sure we're getting rid of every regulation that doesn't truly protect a life or has a true safety component.
Thank you.
Not just to regulate
It's
to
not the only
regulate.
point for state
30
regulations,
seconds,
not
please.
just health and safety.
Yeah,
Creating a
look,
free
I think
market.
you're going to hear a lot of the same thing from everybody here. Deregulation is critical. I think we have to go through all of our statute over a 4-year span and understand the second, third, and fourth order effects of all of it. Clarify everything that we have to. Number 2, we got to make sure that we have Live Florida, which is a model that helps our business owners understand where everything's at. It's very hard sometimes to get critical data. That has to be an extension of commerce. And the third piece is this. I want to have radical transparency for everything that the government does. I want to have a dashboard-based system. I want to make sure that we are an ROI-driven enterprise. If things are going to be put out in the government, it has to be
helping
clear.
young
It has to be
entrepreneurs.
given there and easy to access.
I mean, it's
and that's
good,
why
but
Live
it's not
Florida
helping young
is such a critical thing. It empowers
Jay.
people to make choices.
Thank you, James.
Is this something that's personally affected you?
Myself and my brothers just recently relocated from Wisconsin to Florida.
You bring some cheese curds with you?
That's right. So
Well,
we
from-
felt
The one thing about
Wisconsin,
Wisconsin.
and we'd like to have a governor in the state of Florida that is champion entrepreneurs.
Well, as a young Florida entrepreneur myself who started a business at 21, let me tell you right now that we need to do
What
whatever
business?
it
That
takes
is
to
a
inspire.
debate thing where he was accused of harassing a
No,
kid.
he has his own business.
What business?
I have to look. It's like a full-on,
Oh, it's like a private equity firm, right?
something like that.
Yeah, great. No way he owns a private equity firm, actually. Oh god, yeah, he was a hedge fund manager. The hedge fund manager is running on ending, yeah, Greenlight Capital. Oh my god, no, that's where he worked at. Yeah, Incubate Debate. That was his nonprofit. But yeah, the guy who's running against private equity is the former hedge fund manager.
Inspire the next generation of businesses here, and it will be enough. Here's how you do it. Number one, we need someone who's going to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, who's going to work
You got all
for
those
you.
numbers right.
I'm going to appoint a small business commissioner, the first time it's ever been done in Florida history. And their job is to answer your calls, emails, meet with entrepreneurs from Miami to Jacksonville, Jacksonville to Pensacola, and understand what you guys need. We're going to roll out the red carpet. If you want to come here, and you want to hire, and you want to build things, and you want to write the next great chapter of American history in Florida, you are going to have a friend in me.
But not if you're foreign. Not if you don't look like me.
Beautiful. Thank you, James. All right, so we are coming to the end. Each candidate, 90 seconds, final thoughts before we wrap it up. Paul, I'll
I thought
start
there was
off
going to be a
with
second audience question.
Closing?
closing statements.
You got
Yes.
it. You got it. Well, listen, I've spent my entire life as a battle-tested leader. And when I led the legislature, conservatives won every battle. But ultimately,
You had a super majority. Of course you did.
race is not about any candidate. It's about every Floridian, which is why we've been leaning into a Florida-first agenda from day one. And what that means is we're going to stand up for every man, woman, and child that calls Florida home, that really calls Florida home. And in some ways, Florida has become a victim of our own success. With all the people moving in, we've seen the price of things skyrocket. I recently met with a woman by the name of Peggy, and she and her husband were public school teachers on fixed income, and they were contemplating, after 30 years making Florida their home, of leaving our state because they cannot afford the taxes, the insurance, the electric rates. And the situation for young people is very similar. I met with Megan in Miami, and she had just bought her first home, something I want to see happen when I'm governor. But she was paying 2 to 3 times what the other residents in her area were paying in property taxes because of the way of our property tax is structured. And so we need good leaders who listen. And I've been doing that to build out a Florida first
This is a really boring closing speech. I'm not interested in what he's saying at all.
agenda with our contract with Florida. I suggest you take a look at it at voterenner.com. And what we're going to do is make sure we eliminate property taxes for those who need it most, cut insurance rates by 20%, and lower electric rates. We will ban at the state level hyperscale data centers, period, full stop.
We talk about electric rates, but not the Public Service Commission.
We will
Censors.
stop public corruption and inhuman trafficking. We will make sure that we are a gold standard for election integrity and also stand up for parental rights in the Second Amendment. And we will stop
not
and
maternity
reform
leave.
our AI Bill of Rights that is just as strong or stronger than what was put up in this last special
Thank you,
session.
Paul. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Make some noise for Paul. Thank you. Jay. 90
What we're
seconds.
discussing here is the American dream. We are the greatest nation in the history of this planet. We live in the greatest state among the 50. We should all wake
yeah,
up grateful
baby.
every single day to be a citizen of these United States of America and living here in the great state of Florida. Friends, we can never allow the American dream to be diminished or broken down. We can't allow the next generation to have less than we do today. We have to fight for the future of this great state and this great nation. Like many veterans, I would do everything and anything to serve our state and nation again, even if it came down to the cost of that last full measure of devotion.
dog. He's
We love that
barking in the
nation that much. But friends, this election is a time for choosing. We can choose to go the easy method and allow Byron Donalds to pick who's going to be the next governor and just say that it's over. Or we can do as Florida has always done and stand strong
You know what's
and vote
interesting
for
to me, though,
people
is they
that
haven't-
inspire us, that make a difference in our
I guess
community and
this is
want to
the-
earn.
This is a Republican primary debate, but they haven't mentioned anything about the potential Democratic
David Jolly.
counterparts
Yeah.
that they'd be. Well,
Yeah,
one
the
of them
only
would be
Democrat
running against.
the only Democrat they mentioned is Zoran Mamdani. The only
yeah,
one.
but
They
they
didn't even
haven't
talk about me.
mentioned- it's
But
like,
yeah,
there- like there's more candidates than just who's on this screen right here.
yeah.
So I don't know.
Their vote. Friends, this state matters. Have you looked around the world? There is no place like America. There's no place like Florida. If we are not leading and we are not the conservative proving grounds of America, who is going to step up? Not now, not ever, will we ever let the American dream diminish. And in Florida, under my watch, friends, we'll leave it better than we got it.
He said friends like
We'll
five
make
times.
sure that our children have every opportunity to live their life,
Just
live
shut up at this point. You're not saying anything.
their dreams, and imagine things that we can't even comprehend right now. But more than anything else, my hope and prayer is that as you move forward, you know that in the free state of Florida, we will honor your individual liberties, your rights, your freedoms, as we know
Oh my
that
God,
you
he's-
make a choice and you have a voice.
He keeps on trying to find a sentence that'll lead to conclusion saying vote for me, but he doesn't know what he's saying. His sentence is just continuing on and on.
Make some noise. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. James Fishback, 90 seconds. Closing thoughts, please.
Jay.
Thank you, Patrick, for hosting us. Thank you, Jay and Paul. I know we saw some fireworks tonight.
He's the only one that thanked Patrick.
It's because all three men on this stage love this state and love our country. I want to speak directly to the voters who are watching from home. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's important debate. This election is not about the who.
That's a good point.
This election is about the what. What vision for Florida do you want? I'm going to stand up and ban data centers. I'm going to fight for our citrus growers and our cattle ranchers. I'm going to stand up for your First Amendment right and your Second Amendment right, because I'm a principled conservative. Nowadays, people say they're principled conservatives, but ask them, where do they draw their principles from? Me, I draw them from two places, the US Constitution and the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I believe what we need right now is a revival in this state. I visited all 67 counties, and even though I'm the highest polling person on this stage, if I haven't heard from you, I want to hear from you tonight. My personal email is james@fishback2026.com.
That's not as personal as his campaign email.
Send me an email, and I guarantee you're going to hear
My personal email is contact@benbraver.com.
back from me.
What's always
We need
interesting to me is when like he's preaching, oh, we need a revival of the state, but you were just patting DeSantis on the back the entire event. So, like, well, then he must have not done enough if the state needs a complete revival. They just don't make any sense at all.
someone. As the sun sets on Governor DeSantis' incredible 8 years, we need someone to stare down the new challenges on the horizon. And I'm asking you for the honor of a lifetime.
He's the only one that actually had like a prepared closing remark. The other two Rayner was fine or whatever, but Collins like didn't know what he was saying in the end.
Do that for you, your family, and the state that we love.
Thank you, James. Make some noise. Let me do the following, folks. If you're watching this entire thing was for you, especially the Florida audience that's watching this.
Oh, thanks, Patrick.
Whoever you'd like to support, we have intentionally put their links to.
All right, whatever. All right, that was a good debate. Rayner was definitely the best, but Fishback probably won.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, you're not a Collins head. You're more convinced for Collins after this.
Not at all.
All right, you heard it here
It
first.
It was cute watching him, watching him speak.
I kind of wish we were just allowed to bully him for the entire thing instead of for just that 10 minutes. Well, thank you for watching the Ben Braver Show. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And, go to my website, benbraver.com, and donate to my page there, please. Have a great day.
Peace.